Up until about 9, 10 o'clock, 56 for the low. Thursday, wonderful. Partly to mostly sunny at 75. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
The Annie Fry Show is sponsored by Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation. Don't melt in the heat. If your AC unit isn't working, Air Comfort Service can get you back in the comfort zone fast with an AC service call for only $99. To get your AC serviced, visit aircomfortservice.com.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is anchor man, not anchor lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
I do have to ask, and I know, and it's just something that I think we're compelled to at this moment, with the attention on President Trump, with these questions around a pardon. Did anybody see or hear of the president himself doing anything inappropriate as it related to Jeffrey Epstein?
No.
I
do have to ask, and I know, and it's just something that...
Then you listen to NBC, it's just AMS now. That's going to be a problem. MSNBC is now MS Now.
MS Now.
MS Now. What a dumb name. But that's not the point of the open of the show. This NBC reporter is asking a group of Epstein and Maxwell survivors, that's how they have them listed there, as survivors, talking to Hallie Jackson of NBC. Did you ever see Trump do anything? And they said no. So our poll today is asking you the same thing regarding Epstein. And I struggled over how to write this question. I wanted to write, my first iteration of this was, did Trump have an inappropriate relationship with Epstein? And then I knew that people would be like, wait a second.
Yeah, I would have been that
I know.
person.
I thought that. And I'm like, I don't want to have that conversation with you.
Okay.
So here's how I wrote it. Regarding Epstein, is Trump guilty of anything? Obviously no. Maybe. Or obviously yes. Simmer on that.
Okay.
I will ask you what evidence. So people, I think if you ask this question of people, try to find those objective and nonpartisan people, like the people who are neutral on Donald Trump. Does that person exist?
Yeah, but you can't find them. For all intents and purposes, the answer to that question is no, because they are so off the grid. They're just not plugged into anything, but they're out there.
Sometimes when Johnny from the Jesse Waters show, the producer, he's at the beach and he's asking people questions, I'm like, they might be neutral on Trump, but they're like 18 and a half. They just got here, and chances are that their thoughts and opinions on the man really are extensions from what their parents think. So James Comer is leading the investigation. Remember he had all those subpoenas listed out of who he was going to call in to ask questions about Epstein?
Mm-hmm.
You said you heard Anna Paulina Luna?
Yeah, today saying that she, after listening to this, said that this is a much bigger deal than she thought. She didn't list Trump or anything.
Well, here's a question for you. This is a very, very important question. When we discuss the Epstein issue, what are we discussing? Are we discussing human trafficking, or are we discussing Donald Trump's innocence or guilt? Because it feels a lot right now that the main reason why the Epstein files are being pushed into the conversation with any regularity is specifically because people want to pin it on Trump. And I'm thinking to myself, gosh, if that is the whole intent here, is to just find out if Trump is guilty of anything, just the association in a sentence, just putting the two words Epstein and Trump in the same sentence is damaging to Donald Trump's reputation. I actually thought to myself, we're always asking for big guests to come on the show. For every big guest that we ask, we probably have to ask, 20 of them before we get one who's like, yeah, sure, I'll come on today or this week or whatever. But we're always asking, and we fill them in as we get them. When I asked this question today, wondering how many of you think that Trump might have some sort of culpability or guilt in his relationship, some sort of inappropriate nature in his goings-on with Jeffrey Epstein, I think to myself, if I'm the White House and I scroll through and I see this question, am I going to be like, I don't want to talk to her. Looks like she's putting these two together. And the truth of the matter is, I don't care about that type of stuff enough to not ask this question. And I truly want to know how you feel about the connection between these two people. And I have a feeling that if I continue in my teeny tiny circle of social media and of this radio station's reach, if I continue to get people asking me about details surrounding the Epstein files, and this poll comes back that over 90% of you think that Trump is obviously not guilty of anything, then the interest actually is in what Epstein did, not what Trump did. And that seems like maybe a parsing or a petty way to divide all of this, but I really do think that it's important to shine a spotlight on the media and how people are focusing on this story and why they are focusing on this story. Ryan, imagine for a minute that the only reason we care about what Epstein did, and now pause for a second and think about what Epstein did. Imagine a culture, a society, a world where the only thing that really matters is that what Trump's part was in that. That's where we are.
That's the Democrat Party right now. That is all they care about. They don't even care.
And, we almost died last week.
They don't care about these testimonies. I really don't believe that they do. I think that they just care that, can we say Trump and Epstein in a headline on a late night show somewhere? And that's really gross. I will say the other thing that I find very gross about this topic, because that's the main one, is, and intellectually dishonest, is when people say, if Trump says that he didn't do it, then he didn't do it. Well, no, that can't be true either. You can't just assume that because the guy goes, well, I'm innocent, that he's innocent. Let's vet this whole thing out. Both sides, we need to just get it all out in the open, and I think that is exactly what's happening here.
The fact that there are photographs that have those two individuals in the same place at the same time, that is the only evidence that exists that Donald Trump might be adjacent to any sort of nefarious behavior that Epstein was engaged in. Remember, I mean, this is whataboutism, and I don't particularly love this, but it's coming from that camp specifically. But remember when Hunter Biden had photographs of himself with all of the bad players around the world, golf photos, and then, of course, the laptop comes out? We have the images right there in front of our face of Hunter Biden cracked out, coked out, doing, the images, we know every inch of Hunter Biden's body because he provided it. We know, we have all the relationships that he had all over the world. We had all of it. And the deep state leftists were like, nothing to see here. It's not true. Don't believe your lying eyes. And the media was like, oh, that's a good one. We'll go with that.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's certifiably crazy, which I just want to challenge you right now. If you're one of those people who detests Donald Trump, listen, free country, I support your right to detest Donald Trump. I care about you more as a person than I do about your political opinion. And I'm not here to tell you what you need to believe. I will tell you what I believe. We will have a discussion in this room where probably 70% of the time we pretty much agree on things, but we always have a 30% where in this room with Brad and Ryan and Ethan when he's in here, we might disagree on points deeper into the topic. If you disagree with everything we say, I still love the fact that we are in a country where you can tune in to me, you can turn the station off as soon as you want to, but I want you to understand when you listen to the show, I'm telling you where I'm coming from. I'm not telling you where you need to be. which is a distinction that I wish more talk radio would subscribe to. I think that we could do more open discussion and less preaching. I don't understand how you can be somebody who looks and thinks that everything that Donald Trump does is terrible. Root that in policy so it's meaningful as opposed to just emotional, just an emotional response to, man, I hate that guy. Listen, there are people on the Republican side of the aisle that when I see them talking, I'm like, I can't do it. I'm not going to name names, but there are people that are incredibly successful in Republican, or I'll say this, conservative media, talk media. And I think they make great points, but I cannot stand the way that they deliver their message. So I just don't watch them. And they probably don't watch me. And some of those people have never and will never have heard of Annie Fry. And I'm okay with that. I've got, like I said, this little niche. Happy to be here. Happy that you're here. How is it possible that you can intellectually look at Donald Trump and Epstein files, release the files, release the names, all of this stuff that continues to be, I mean, it's like a hashtag. I don't think we do hashtags anymore. I think that's kind of yesterday. But if we did hashtags, it would be the hashtag of the moment, release the files. And the whole implication behind that is, then you'll get Donald Trump. You think that this far into this story, in September of 2025, that now you're going to get Donald Trump in the Epstein files? Honey, that's not happening. It's not going to happen. It didn't happen. We never would have gotten this far. They shot bullets at this man in an effort to stop him from getting back into the Oval Office. Somebody did. What do we know about that guy? Not a damn thing, which is unbelievable. It's unbelievable that we don't know anything about crooks. We knew everything about Hunter Biden. Everything. We knew, like, the geography of his loins. That
was a gross way to put that.
I know it's for you guys.
Ugh.
You want to sit and think about it?
No. I don't want to sit and think about that at all.
I have less than 8 seconds to just let that simmer.
Do that.
I'm going to think about a pork loin instead of hunter loin.
That kind of grosses me out.
Yeah, I don't think that went the right direction.
We know all of this about Hunter Biden, and it meant nothing. You have 3 photographs of Donald Trump at a party with hundreds of other people, and they were in the same place at the same time in high society New York. Epstein was at Mar-a-Lago, and we know for a fact that Donald Trump kicked Epstein out of Mar-a-Lago and then cooperated with the police department there to make sure that if Epstein did anything wrong, that Donald Trump was there to help. We know all of this, and your whole political party messaging is around release the files? It's not serious. You're not serious people. And I don't like to pity people. But I just don't love seeing people in my real life who I care about. Good people, really good-hearted people. People who lead with their heart and their soul and their emotions be so wrapped up in a lie that was intentionally sold to them. You've been sold a lie. Listen, I understand if you're like, okay, maybe he's not the worst person who's ever walked the face of the earth. But I disagree with everything he's doing. I hate tariffs. I hate what he's doing with the education department. I think that, I know people who have immigrated here and immigrants are good. That's a whole other bag of lies that you've been sold. But you might have a heart for all of these things, and you might hate his policies, and I respect your right to do that. But at least have some substance behind it. At least be able to argue the fact that Donald Trump is not the right guy for the job without telling me that you think he's like Satan Hitler. We got to be more honest, and we got to be more substantive about these conversations. I'm begging you. The YouTube live chat poll regarding Epstein, is Trump guilty of everything? Of anything. That was not one of the iterations of the regarding Epstein, is Trump guilty of
It makes the
anything?
answer easier. Is Trump guilty of everything?
Do you know there are people who be like, absolutely.
Yeah, 3% every day.
Well, man. We could have a segment called the 3%.
We could occupy Wall Street with him.
What about Olive Street?
That's fine. Closer walk.
More convenient.
Yeah.
There's KFC. Obviously no, obviously yes, or maybe, question mark? Come vote to the Annie Fry YouTube live chat poll. We've got Ryan Schmelz coming up with us next. Chad Pergram got called to the bigs on the television network, so we're going to watch and see because he's reporting on this Epstein stuff as well. But our friend Ryan Schmelz became available, and we snatched him up as soon as we could. We're going to ask about what this is all about on Capitol Hill. What is Comer doing? Ryan Schmelz will give us the down low on the Annie Fry Show when we come back. Don't go away.
Spider Murphy played his tenor saxophone. Little Joe was blowing on the slide trombone. The drummer boy from Illinois would crash, boom, bang. The whole rhythm section was a purple gangland rock.
The Retirement Advisory Group getting ready to party in your retirement. You want to know what you're really realistically going to be able to expect once you set into that retirement. Of course, if you call 314-993-9494, that's 314-993-9494, you are going to connect yourself to Bob and Tammy Kershaw, to Thomas Helbig, to the history of the Retirement Advisory Group, helping people exactly like you get ready for retirement. And I don't mean like, okay, I'm 40 and I'm getting ready for it. Aren't we all like hopefully doing something to get ready for retirement? Yes, but I got decades ahead of me before I'm in your shoes. You're at that special age, that special half age, 59 and a half or older, where you've got some market moves that you can make, some really smart moves that you can make that are going to set you up. And when you call the Retirement Advisory Group, you get a free sit-down conversation with them to discuss exactly what those are. What are your dreams? What do you want retirement to look like for you? Schedule that appointment at 314-993-9494. That's 314-993-9494. Hit them up online, retirementkey.com.
If your kitchen's not even functional and you can't stand the look of your bathroom, stop just living around the problem. Let Lakeside Renovation and Design help you love your home again. From spa-like bathrooms to these beautiful, functional, custom kitchens to a finished basement, their in-house team over there at Lakeside, they're going to help bring any vision you have to life. They're going to walk you through every step of the process, the planning, the permits, all the things we don't like to do. They take care of it. You just have to dream. And they have financing options like 0 payments, 0% interest for 24 months. Schedule your free consultation today. It's lakesiderd.com.
Hurt in a motorcycle accident? You need someone who knows St. Louis, who's about St. Louis. You need Kaufman Townsley, your hometown injury lawyers. We're here for real people with real results. Kaufman Townsley, St. Louis Injury Lawyers. Call 314-500-5000.
If you're looking for the best eye care in St. Louis, look no further than the doctors of Ophthalmology Associates. Doctors Greg Birdie, Ranjan Malhotra, Robert Brusati, and Andrew Royer. Make your appointment today at youridoc.com or call 314-966-5000. Ophthalmology Associates.
If you want thick, healthy, gorgeous hair, then you need Hair Volume from New Nordic. Available as a tablet or delicious gummy, Hair Volume is available online at Amazon and NewNordicUSA.com or in the hair care aisle at your local CVS.
Annie Fry, Ryan Wiggins, Brad Range. It's the Annie Fry Show.
Update. I think everyone knows who all we've subpoenaed thus far. In the initial batch, we subpoenaed 6 former attorneys general as well as Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton. We've expanded that to Alex Acosta. Acosta's coming in, I believe, September the 19th, 16th or 19th. We've got that date down. I know that we'll have a lot of questions for him with respect to an earlier Epstein prosecution that he was involved in when he was U.S. attorney. We have the documents, the initial batch that had been sent by the White House. As you know, we also subpoenaed Pam Bondi for those documents. The White House is working with us. I want to publicly thank the White House for turning over so many documents thus far. We're in the process of uploading those documents for full transparency so everyone in America can see those documents. It's as quick as we can get them uploaded, and as the speaker said, there are 34,000 pages. So we're doing everything we can to get those uploaded. We want those to be public as soon as possible. And then we're going to continue to bring in more people. We learned of some additional names today. We're going to do everything we can to give the American public the transparency they seek, as well as provide accountability in memory of the victims who have already passed away, as well as those that were in the room, and many others who haven't come forward.
So there you have Representative Comer, who is in charge of the Oversight Committee there, talking about the investigation they have into the Epstein files. And there was a big development today, and we wanted to get to the bottom of it. Of course, our friend Ryan Schmelz with us now. Ryan, thank you for being with us this afternoon. Can you give us just like a precursor as to what the House of Representatives is doing right now in oversight regarding the Epstein files and the Epstein situation?
So the House Oversight Committee has subpoenaed documents. They've got about 30,000 documents plus that were delivered to them that they're going through and hoping to make public at some point when they make sure that all the redactions of sensitive information are there. They're then going to be subpoenaing a number of people like Alex Acosta in the future. So there's a list of witnesses that they still have to bring forward to discuss Ghislaine Maxwell as well as Jeffrey Epstein. And on the other hand, you've got a group of bipartisan lawmakers, 4 Republicans who've signed on to a discharge petition that would bring a bill to the floor that would compel the release of the Epstein files if it passes.
So the release of the Epstein files, I think that we've been talking about this long enough. It was absolutely part of the conversation during the campaign before the president was elected. We were having this discussion before we brought you on, Ryan. And in my mind, when you hear the Epstein files, it sounds like a political ping pong ball that gets batted back and forth. And the question to me is, I'm asking myself, is this investigation about what Epstein actually did with whom, or is it just a question about if Trump was involved? And the political poker chip here has more to do with Trump, but it seems to me like what Comer and his group is trying to get to is much deeper than just Trump's involvement with Jeffrey Epstein.
Yeah, well, keep in mind, too, one of the backers of this discharge petition is Marjorie Taylor Greene, another is Lauren Boebert, another Nancy Mace, and then Thomas Massie's the fourth. Only one of them is not considered to be a Trump ally. So, yeah, I mean, I think it depends on who you ask. I think everyone's got their own intentions on what the right next move is. But, we just had the survivors here on Capitol Hill not too long ago, and, they want answers. And it's up to Congress to get it to them because, I think the question is there a path forward to prosecute people, and could there be people who go to jail? Well, there was testimony that was given by some of these survivors in a closed-door meeting yesterday where they named specific people who were considered to be rich and powerful. Now, they haven't come out and named those people explicitly because, they want to, I think, have a path forward in terms of prosecution, but, that their names are certainly on the radar for certain members of the Oversight Committee.
So if I'm understanding this correctly, we're speaking with Ryan Schmelz right now, Capitol Hill and White House correspondent with Fox News. The goal of what Representative Comer is trying to do is find out who was doing illegal things inside the Epstein circle, expose those people, and potentially they would be set up for prosecution for crimes that they were exposed to have been committed.
I think that certainly is I think that certainly is one thing. I think there also are, how did the government, drop the ball on this, and how could this be prevented in the future? I think there's a lot of different ways in which they can go about this information and what to do with it. But I think certainly getting that prosecution is the first big one, and getting a list of names of people who may have committed crimes here, because only 2 people have gone to jail so far. One of them's still alive, the other's dead, and and that's just not enough for a number of people.
So, whenever we're talking about these things that have been discussed in like conspiracy social media circles, a lot of times the conspiracy can sort of become the discussion of the conspiracy can become bigger than the conspiracy itself. So I'm always trying to comb away what's being, chattered about versus what's actually real. So let's discuss for a second what is actually real. What I hear you saying is that Congress right now is looking into the possibility that the government in some way, shape, or form worked to cover up or maybe alter some of the information, the evidence, the truth of what Jeffrey Epstein was doing?
Maybe. I don't know if that's that might be a bridge too far, because there's a lot of different ways you can look at this. I mean, they're just trying to get information right now. That seems like what they're trying to do right now. But what they did yesterday was that they got a lot of people to make pretty substantial allegations against a number of different people. They haven't come out with who those people are yet, but, if there's a path forward with prosecution, I think it certainly is possible. Marjorie Taylor Greene said today that she would go to, if she got a list of names, she would literally go to the House floor and start naming them off, so that nobody else has to face retaliation. She's happy to do it herself. So I think that's probably just the big part, is finding out who's involved in this ring involving Jeffrey Epstein.
From a Fox News article I'm reading here, a lawyer representing victims of Jeffrey Epstein said Wednesday that the American public is, quote, going to be appalled, end quote, about documents relating to the disgraced late financier that have not been released by the federal government. That's a Fox News article by Greg Norman. Are those documents, is it just a matter of time before the American people are going to have the ability to be appalled by what they read and these documents be released?
I think so, but you also have people on the Hill who have been kind of downplaying some of the documents that were released by the DOJ, saying, well, a lot of this is information we already know. But, when you're talking about 30,000 pages of documents, who knows about that? Now Thomas Massie, who's the Republican who's been pushing this legislation to fully release the files, has said that he believes that the Department of Justice, and he's alleging the Department of Justice, has heavily redacted a number of these 30,000 documents that are in here, to the point that some of the information doesn't make any sense. Now, I will have to see what that actually looks like, and if he's telling the truth with that. But this was kind of one of the big things, was that we were waiting for the government to redact a significant amount of this information before we ultimately get to see it. And it looks like we at least got 30,000 documents worth of those pages as of right now, but there still could be some out there that we haven't seen yet.
So we're speaking with Ryan Schmelz, the Fox News Radio Capitol Hill and White House correspondent. Please follow him on X at Ryan Schmelz Fox. One thing I heard Comer say in his statement there, he had Speaker Johnson standing to his immediate right when he was delivering these remarks to the press. He mentioned that the White House was cooperating and that, Pam Bondi was providing documents or information. Can you explain a little bit of the systematic structure that exists where Congress is investigating what's going on here? They're subpoenaing people. They're asking questions. Some people are pleading the fifth. I presume that will happen a bit. So Congress is involved in this investigation. I think a lot of people from the outside looking in would be like, what does he mean the White House is cooperating? A lot of people are looking at Donald Trump as potentially being implicated by something that might come out. Hasn't happened yet. What kind of cooperation or separation exists when the Congress is going into an investigation like this?
Well, Congress has subpoena power, and that's what they're trying to utilize right now. And they've utilized that subpoena power to get these documents, and the DOJ didn't put up too much of a fight about it. It's very different than what they dealt with the assassination attempt on President Trump, where you had numerous allegations, even when President Trump took office, numerous allegations that the DOJ was stonewalling the different committees that were investigating that assassination attempt. So in this case, at least from Comer's perspective, the White House and the Department of Justice have given them all the information they've asked for so far, or have cooperated with what they've been asking for so far. But if you go and ask Democrats that, they think quite the opposite. They don't think that the White House has been very cooperative with what with the information they're giving them. So I think it just depends on who you ask when it comes to the level of cooperation. But you have dueling press conferences going on where you have the members who are pushing this legislation outside with Epstein victims saying that the Trump administration is not releasing what they're asking for, whereas inside you've got Comer and House Speaker Mike Johnson saying the complete opposite, that the government is being cooperative with them. So it's a big back and forth right now.
Yeah, and trying to get away from the politics and down to the substance is why we talk to you, Ryan Schmelz. We're thankful for your time today. And please come back as soon as the story develops. We'll definitely want to cover it, and we love having you here.
Hey, of course. Thank you so much, Annie.
Take care. Bye-bye. What do you think?
I think this is all good. It's just there's a lot of it. And to kind of break, that's why you talk to somebody like Ryan Schmelz, is sort of break it down for me. Let me know what I need to know about.
I asked him, did you hear me ask? I don't know if you were in here when I asked the question, like, is this investigation looking into the government's culpability?
Ooh.
In how this is being covered up? And he was like, ooh, can't say that. Here's Chad Pergram on. He was right. We had him booked for right now. And he's like, I got called into the bigs. Do you think they sit him down like you do a pro player when they're at AAA? He's going to do radio.
Yeah.
I'm like, Chad, we need you on the Big Fox, not St. Louis radio.
And he's like, ooh, he jerseys up.
He tears up.
Gets on a plane.
Changes his hat.
Yeah. He puts on the expensive hat.
Brad, I'm trying to tell you we need to go to a break.
I'm sorry.
Welcome back. All right. We'll listen into what Chad Pergram had to say here and follow that up with Ryan Schmelz, who's right there on the ground as well at Capitol Hill. And we'll come back with that in a minute. Don't go away. Infinite-vitality.com. Oh, gosh, this is a phone call you need to make. You've been thinking about it. You hear me talking about it. You're a little, nervous about it, kind of uncomfortable. You've heard some things. You're not so sure. Hormone replacement therapy. You are seeing people on both ends of the spectrum. Some people are like, no, scary. And other people are like, it changed my life. Well, hi, this is Annie. It changed my life. If you are having that middle age, I'm 41 and I've experienced it. Granted, I'm shepherding around 4 children, trying to, keep a job going and coaching sports and doing all the things. And I'm tired. I think it's natural to be tired, but then you're like this extra tired, this drudging through the day, and you want to get through it. You want your energy, your pep, your kind of zest for life injected back into your life. Men and women alike, you can get this. My husband is doing this as well and raves about the experience just the same as I do. And pair it, like I am, with weight loss. I'm using a GLP-1 tirzepatide with Infinite Vitality, and I'm down over 10 pounds in 6 weeks or so, and I'm not pushing it. I'm not like rearranging my entire life because I can't to lose weight, and it's coming off, and I'm so happy about it. I want you to have this as well, and all you need to do is have that free conversation with them when you call 618-486-1888. 618-486-1888. Throw my name out there and save money on most services. 618-486-1888. It's the phone call you've been dying to make. Infinite-vitality.com.
Don't get lulled into believing the IRS is getting soft. It's just the opposite. Hi, this is Lance Story with the Lance Story Law Firm. We are being told by IRS collection officers that their higher-ups are demanding that they get more aggressive than ever. So don't ignore them any longer. Level up. If you have unfiled returns, unpaid taxes, levies, or liens, call the Lance Story Law Firm today and let us get between you and the IRS. We'll protect your rights, including your right to appeal or even your right to take the IRS to tax court. Remember, IRS problems are legal problems, and they need to be handled by an expert attorney team who's done it for decades. So call the Lance Story Law Firm today. We're local. Our office is right here in St. Louis, or visit LanceDruryLaw.com to schedule your free consultation with your local tax resolution law firm, the Lance Story Law Firm, 314-260-6120.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, the timeshare cancellation guy. In 2011, I founded Wesley Financial Group with one goal in mind: to help honest folks out of their timeshares permanently. Today, I run Wesley with my 2 sons, a real family business, treating every client and every employee like we'd want our own family treated. That philosophy has helped us grow into the largest, most trusted timeshare cancellation company in the United States. Fortune magazine even recognized us as one of the best places to work. Why? Because we genuinely care. In fact, some of our former clients were so moved by their experience working with us, they joined our team so they could help others to timeshare freedom. If you're stuck in a timeshare, give us a call. Let our family help your family.
Call Wesley now for your free timeshare exit kit. 800-949-1441. That's 800-949-1441. 800-949-1441.
The poll today is regarding Epstein. It reads this way. Regarding Epstein, is Trump guilty of anything? Obviously no, maybe, or obviously yes. Those are your options for the YouTube live chat poll today. Let us know what you think by logging into YouTube. You don't have to log in. I guess you just type it in somewhere. Logging in is a very old way of saying that. 12:37. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
From Cottleville to Maryville, 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Caught my heart about 1-2 times. Don't need to question the reason I'm yours. I'm yours. I'd move the earth to lose a fight just to see a smile. Cause you got no flaws. No flaws. I'm not trying to be your part-time lover. Sign me up for them full-time. I'm yours. All yours. So what a man gotta do.
All right, welcome back. Brian's really breaking it down in here. I told him his falsetto voice is his best voice.
He didn't even turn his mic on.
No, I didn't.
It was
because I didn't
for
know
us.
the words.
It was a secret.
What a man gotta do. I did. That's the only thing I know.
Chad Pergram just gave a report on Fox News. We had him booked for 12:18, and he had to do TV. So Ryan Schmelz was supposed to be with us yesterday, and he got pulled out of being available for us. So we got him today, which is great. But I want to hear what Chad Pergram has to say because he is covering the Epstein stuff situation very closely. He just gave this report on Fox.
Jillian, good afternoon. Well, they want all the documents released without redactions. An attorney for the victims, Bradley Edwards, says people will, quote, be appalled by what's in the documents. Democrats and a few Republicans are pushing the House to release everything.
These are some of the richest, most powerful people in the world that could sue these women into poverty and homelessness. Yeah, it's a scary thing to name names, but I will tell you, I'm not afraid to name names. And so if they want to give me a list, I will walk in that Capitol on the House floor and I'll say every damn name that abused these women.
A massive crowd swarmed the Capitol today as Epstein victims push lawmakers to bypass House Speaker Mike Johnson and vote to compel a release of the Epstein documents. So far, only 4 Republicans have signed on to the plan. President Trump accused Democrats of engineering the Epstein issue to distract from his accomplishments.
So what they're trying to do with the Epstein hoax is get people to talk about that instead of speaking about the tremendous success. We're having the most successful 8 months of any president ever. And that's what I want to talk about. That's what we should be talking about, not the Epstein hoax.
Haley Robson is an Epstein victim. She says the president is wrong and encouraged him to listen to the victims.
Mr. President Donald J. Trump, I am a registered Republican, not that that matters because this is not political. However, I cordially invite you to the Capitol to meet me in person so you can understand this is not a hoax.
The House Oversight Committee just released 32,000 pages of Epstein documents. Included in the new material is a congressional video which fills in the missing footage from near Epstein's cell on the night he died in a New York jail. Jillian?
So there you have Chad Pergram. That was the report that he was going to give on this show. And little does he know, he still did.
Oh, we got you, Chad.
Got you, Chad Pergram.
Ha.
Come back again, please.
Or just do that.
You think that the victims need justice. And isn't this, remember back before Donald Trump won the election and we did the poll? This one sticks in my head. Which conspiracy do you want to know the whole truth about the most? And yes, obviously, you want to know everything about like COVID origins and who was pushing what and when. And we see that the president has put out a Truth Social post recently that was like, listen, it's time we get all the information behind these vaccines. So he's taking he's never really backed down from the beautiful vaccine. But it seems as though right now he's saying, hey, if there's more information that we need to know, let's get it out there. So did you want to know everything about COVID? Did you want to know everything about the 2020 election? Which we would say, like, you might find out everything about the 2020 election and realize Joe Biden beat Donald Trump. That is absolutely within the realm of possibility. And there are many people out here who don't think that's possible at all. It is possible, but in I'm going to air quotes, risking finding out that Joe Biden actually beat Donald Trump, you would also open yourself up with the opportunity to find out all the details of how they did. The alternative to Joe Biden winning and Donald Trump actually losing is how they did steal the election, if they did. The third thing was the assassinations. We're talking Kennedy. We're talking Trump attempt, all of that. Do you want to know the story behind that? And it's interesting that I think that was the day that we put that up was after they had released some information about maybe Ryan Ruth, whatever. There's really Donald Trump was millimeters from death from crooks at that campaign rally. And the explanation is that guy was crazy. Done. Period. Full stop. I have to, when I'm talking about it, I have to think for 15 seconds to come up with that guy's name, which maybe is a good thing, that he's not some sort of famous type of martyr for something. And it's very possible that he isn't some like CIA deep state plant that was trying to carry out some sort of Russia collusion plot to end the president's life. He might have just been crazy. But we don't know anything more about him. And then the last one was the Epstein stuff and the sex trafficking of children. We know that that was happening, correct?
Yeah, that's why he was convicted.
That's not a suspicion. That's something that really happened. And we have very little details, a mysterious death from Jeffrey Epstein. I mean, if you were finding out all the details about that too, you'd find out if Epstein really did kill himself. I really, really want to know everybody's name. Political party has no place in determining whether or not I would want the truth on any specific detail of that. The kids that were involved, the victims across the board that were involved, and the people who participated in whatever Epstein was doing, I want to know it all. It is pretty crazy that we're this far into it, and it only seems to get more mysterious. Every time there's a development, it gets more mysterious. I don't know if we kicked the door down and got all the info, if we'd even recognize that it was happening.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, like you said, the conspiracy gets bigger than the story. And that's why what's happening right now, here's what's disappointing. What Republicans are doing right now, it should be just everybody, although Democrats feign interest because it might have something to do with a headline with Trump. But what Republicans are doing in Congress right now is listening to victims. Why was this not done a long time ago? Why did it take this becoming what it is now for this to happen?
Because the Democrats controlled Congress?
I think you might be right.
YouTube live chat poll regarding Epstein. Is Trump guilty of anything? Obviously no. Obviously yes. Or maybe. Come to the Annie Fry YouTube channel and vote. Quick break. When we come back, Ryan Wiggins and Wiggins America, how to be a classier person. Is this your thoughts?
Well, this comes from inside of me because it's easy for me. But
that's super weird.
There is
Don't say that again.
Okay.
Whatever's inside of you, you leave that there. I don't want anything to do with it.
You don't want it all to come pouring out in the next segment? Mm-mm. All right, we're going to leave the stuff inside of me, and then we're going to...
How to be a classier person.
Yep.
Don't toot in public. That's what we say in the Fry House. We'll be right back.
Mark Cox here. Join us live Thursday, September 11th at Chicken Ellie's in Eureka as we support Focus Marines Foundation. They're helping post 9/11 veterans transition to civilian life. Learn more at 971talk.com/events.
Hi, I'm Bob Kershaw with Retirement Advisory Group. Are you worried about market volatility? Are you concerned your money won't last you through retirement?
Hi, I'm Tammy Kershaw, and as a family-owned business, we are committed to protecting your retirement, whether you're nearing retirement or already retired. We have a lot of folks that aren't aware of all the new investment choices that are available, which give you growth and protection from losses at the same time. Are you aware of all the fees that you are currently paying? We can show you how to avoid those fees. So come in now for your free retirement review and get a second opinion on your retirement plan. And just for coming in, you'll get a copy of our latest edition book, Your Key to a Worry-Free Retirement. Let us show you how to retire with confidence.
We are proud to say we haven't lost a penny of our clients' money in 39 years, and we won't lose a penny of yours either. Let our family help your family. Call us now at 314-993-9494 or go online to retirementkey.com. That's retirementkey.com.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was.
I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/radio to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
That's leaffilter.com/radio for your free gutter inspection today. See representative for warranty details. Promotion is 20% off plus a 10% senior or military discount. One discount per household.
With conviction and clarity, The Annie Fry Show on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Nights in white satin, never reaching the end.
Having deja vu.
Letters I've written,
go on,
never meaning to send.
Classy Ethan, thank you for this.
Beauty I'd always miss.
This is Powerhouse 5000 or whatever you're saying.
This is Power Man 5000. Yeah.
Whatever, Powerhouse.
Yeah.
YouTube
Brother
Live
of
chat
Rob
poll.
Zombie.
Same thing.
Yeah.
Resemblance?
I don't know. They both put on a lot of makeup.
That's so that you can't see the resemblance.
Mm-hmm.
Regarding Epstein, is Trump guilty of anything? Obviously no, maybe, or obviously yes. The YouTube live chat poll, go vote.
Wiggins! Oh! Wiggins! It was yesterday in this time that we were talking about Knights in White Satin, so
Mostly
I figured
you.
I would go ahead and let that song play a bit because it inspired today's Wiggins America. Ways to make yourself seem classier.
You think that you do that with Knights in White Satin?
Oh, I think so. I think that's the one time in my life.
I'm surprised that you think you can be any classier.
Oh, no. I understand that I am a man of the people. I'm not some cocktail party entertainer.
I've seen your sweaters.
No, when I sing Knights in White Satin, I feel like I have leveled up. And that is the only time. So these are ways in which you can also level up and be classier. Number one.
Who in here thinks of themselves as a classy person? Or who in here is a classy person? Ethan, are you classy? That's seems like a no.
No.
No?
I am. I wouldn't.
Are you not classy?
I don't know. That's such a weird question. I do not feel like I am overall a super classy person. I think everyone has the ability to be when they need to, excluding Ryan Wiggins. But I think it's more so a called upon. I don't know if anyone is classy all the time necessarily, though.
Yeah, I would say that.
Have you seen my sweaters at events?
Oh my gosh.
No, I haven't.
Do you know who Cliff Huxtable is?
I don't.
Oh,
I would
God.
love to know.
Ryan, it hurts.
I will show you next time who Cliff Huxtable is. Who? By pointing at my chest. Brad, are you classy?
No. It is not my default setting, and I don't even know that I could turn it on if I wanted to.
Before Annie answers this question, is it safe to say that women in general are classier than men?
Yeah, as a default setting, absolutely.
Let me interject and say that I think women can default at classy and then choose to not be that life, and men are kind of the opposite.
There was an elegance about women that
Feminism
the word
killed.
Classy,
yeah.
Yes, true. That classy attaches with. Men don't have said elegance.
If a woman is classy, does that mean she's also high maintenance?
No. Yes.
No.
Sounds
Okay.
personal.
Oh, okay.
No.
Here's the first tip. Never, never, never say, I don't care. Just hearing or reading that phrase can make people feel uncomfortable, and you want them to feel welcome. The phrase is dismissive and disrespectful, especially in situations where empathy and consideration are expected. Rather, try to appear interested if you want to seem classy. Thank you. I think you're all
Rather
doing
than
that to me
saying,
right now.
I don't care, say, this topic intrigues me. Tell
Thank
me
you.
more.
Thank you.
I don't think lying is classy.
Now, when you said that, I thought, well, I will continue then. We've got like 5 minutes.
Is there a classy way of saying I don't care?
This is enabling. Go on.
The next one would be to never, ever ask personal questions when you first meet somebody, like, are you married?
Duh.
Do you have children?
Where did you get that scar?
Where did you purchase that sweater?
You never know what's happening in people's lives,
Yeah.
their life history, and you're in danger of making them feel uncomfortable. Perhaps a couple cannot have children or they just had a
Oh,
miscarriage.
God, don't ever ask people about their baby situation.
That is not a great recipe for creating rapport with someone. And I need to highlight that word is spelled R-A-P-P-O-R-T. And I knew how to
Rapport.
say it, which
Did you
is
say it wrong?
classy. No, I
Oh.
said rapport.
Is there any questions, Ryan, that a classy fellow would ask instead of those questions that come to mind for you?
No.
Maybe if you were classy, you would have had a couple.
You were trying to deviate from this, and I want to stick to the list.
Okay, fine.
Never say anyways or anyhows.
Oh, my gosh. Anyways?
That's technically incorrect, and they don't have S's, and it makes you sound unclassy.
Oh, my gosh.
Never call somebody by a name other than the one they introduced themselves with. Like if Brad were to introduce himself to me and say,
Is
hello, I'm
George?
Brad Range, the producer for the Annie Fry Show. I should never say, what up, B-Dog? That's not classy.
What if you were to say Bradley instead of Brad? That sounds more classy to
What
me.
if his name's Bradford?
Is your name Bradford?
No, no,
God.
it's not.
He's not a pear tree,
You
Ethan.
made an assumption, though, which
I
is
did.
the point of the thing, is that you never
This is
know.
why I'm not classy.
Yeah.
Never ask what people do for work. That can sometimes be perceived a little too invasive or pigeonholing someone, like you're just talking to them because you want to know what they've done in life. You want to be genuinely interested in them for reasons other than just what they do. Here's the most important one of all. Any phrase with foul language, swearing, or cursing
This is a very foul part.
is not allowed to be a classy person.
Yeah. It's true.
Why don't you give us a list of those words, Annie?
You know him.
I'm going to tell you right now.
I
We're
know
about a
you-
minute
I
away
know
from
you
break.
want me to lose
I'm gonna
my
hear
job.
every single one of those words in about 60 seconds. Perhaps, unfortunately, sounding classy means leaving your favorite curse word at home. Foul language is vulgar, offensive, and undignified, especially inappropriate in
Are
a
you
public
admonishing
setting.
this show?
I might be.
I heard a lot of this is what you shouldn't say,
Yeah.
but absolutely
No, what you should-
this is what you should say.
Mm-hmm.
So
it is
this didn't help me at
demure
all.
to be. It is mysterious and potentially classy to say less.
Mm-hmm. To walk into a room and just assume everybody wants to know you and you don't have to say anything. Classy.
I don't know if that's really the thought process, but I see where you're coming from.
And never, last one, never tell anyone you're wrong. That is too direct of a confrontation
What's your source?
to be considered classy. The classiest publication of all, Parade Magazine.
Oh, that's kind of a legit one.
Darn right.
I was hoping it was careeraddict.com.
Like usual.
Who's had more play on this show than probably anywhere else. All right, stick around. We got Deroy, Murdock, and Congressman Burlison in the next hour. Don't go away.
Just what I'm going through.
When you're approaching retirement, there are a lot of questions to answer. Do you have enough money to fund your income for life? How should you claim Social Security? And what's your plan for health care and long-term care? Hi, I'm Eric Robert, Director of Investments with the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel and host of On the Money Saturday mornings at 11 on 97.1 FM Talk. Don't leave your retirement to chance. It's crucial to understand and address relevant risks before you retire. Our team can help you get organized, guide you through critical retirement decisions, and create an investment portfolio designed around your needs. To schedule your free retirement plan consultation, go to clearpathinvesting.com. That's clearpathinvesting.com. Or call us at 636-695-2650. That's clearpathinvesting.com or 636-695-2650. Stifel Nicholas and Company Incorporated, member SIPC and NYSE.
HomeshieldFoundationRepairs.com. Please consider how reaching out to Matt Hayes at 314-227-9636 314-227-9636 can solve this problem that's been pestering you for so long. Something that, generally speaking, once it becomes a problem, it grows in severity over the course of time. Erosion sets in, and that big crack in your concrete that was just a crack in your concrete all of a sudden becomes a trip hazard, a safety hazard. And whether it's at your home, in your driveway, your walkway, or sidewalk, or in your place of business, you want to make sure that this safety hazard doesn't become an extra liability for you. There's a cost-effective way to solve this problem, and it's through a system called polyjacking, where a polyurethane foam gets injected under the concrete, raises it up, levels it out, and it comes with a 5-year warranty when you call Home Shield Foundation Repair and Matt Hayes. 314-227-9636. 314-227-9636. HomeshieldFoundationRepairs.com.
Men. Need a clinic that accepts all insurance, including Medicare? U.S. Men's Medical Center in St. Peters does. U.S. Men's helps men experiencing loss of energy, focus, concentration, and low libido. And they accept all insurance, even Medicare, for testosterone replacement therapy. Patients love the staff and the fact that, yes, I'm going to say it again, they accept all insurance, including Medicare. Feel better? Call U.S. Men's Medical Center at 636-244-5333.
Remember when the Queen of Carpet and the Princess of Pile were flying around the arch selling flooring?
Andrea, that was the Queen of Carpet and the Princess of Tile.
Oh, that's right. But we don't need shtick here at Best Buy Flooring.
That's right, because our in-stock selection of carpet tile, sheet vinyl, laminate, hardwood, luxury vinyl plank, and luxury vinyl tile are already at low, low prices.
Come see us at our 3 area locations, North County, South County, and Metro East. Open 7 days a week.
Plus, free financing on approved credit. Best flooring, best selection, Best Buy Flooring.
KFTK FM Florissant from the Kaufman Townsley St. Louis's Injury Lawyers Studio. Call 314-500-5000.
That's 314-500-5000.
All on the free Odyssey app.
A vaccine shakeup in Florida. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. State health officials just announcing they plan to stop mandating many childhood vaccines.
Florida's Surgeon General Joseph Ladapo said he and Governor DeSantis' administration will work to end every single childhood vaccine mandate in the state.
Your body is a gift from God. What you put into your body is because of your relationship with your body and your God. I don't have that right.
Governor DeSantis said this is part of getting government out of people's lives. While state health officials will examine which vaccines they could unilaterally take off a mandatory schedule, others would require legislative approval. Right now, Florida daycare and school facilities require DTaP, measles, mumps, rubella, Hep B, chickenpox, polio, and others.
Fox's Jessica Rosenthal. One Democratic state lawmaker calls scrapping vaccine mandates reckless and dangerous. The Democratic governors of California, Oregon, and Washington state just announcing a new alliance aimed at safeguarding health policies by coordinating. President Trump says the leaders of China, Russia, and North Korea are conspiring against the U.S. after all three attended a military parade in China, marking the 80th anniversary of the end of World War II.
President Trump called the display impressive.
But I understood the reason they were doing it, and they were hoping I was watching, and I was watching. My relationship with all of them is very good. We're going to find out how good it is over the next week or two.
The president says Xi should have mentioned the U.S. in his Victory Day address. President Trump also warned of additional sanctions targeting Russia, telling reporters he will be speaking with Putin shortly.
Fox's Jared Halpern at the White House, where President Trump has been meeting with the president of Poland, also telling reporters U.S. troops will remain in Poland and that he's willing to send more if requested. America is listening to Fox News.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation, an irregular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduced stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. Stroke risk may increase. Eliquis can cause serious and potentially fatal bleeding. Don't take if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or bleed longer. A spinal injection increases blood clot risk, which may cause paralysis. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding or bruising, or back pain, tingling, numbness, muscle weakness, or incontinence. Aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eloquist.com or call 1-855-ELOQUIST.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
A cold front will be kicking through the St. Louis area late today into the evening, so keep an eye out for a couple of scattered thunderstorms, not anticipating anything severe. But today, ahead of that front, it's the warmest afternoon in a long time, 87. Scattered showers and thunderstorms tonight, up until about 9, 10 o'clock, 56 for the low Thursday, wonderful. Partly to mostly sunny at 75. This is 97.1 FM Talk, Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
The Annie Fry Show is sponsored by Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation. Air Comfort Service is hiring licensed journeymen. Don't have a journeyman license? Air Comfort Service will help you get it. Get guaranteed hours year-round and more. Apply online at aircomfortservice.com.
Annie Fry, Ryan Wiggins, Brad Ray.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride. What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
For goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show on 97.1 FM Talk.
Unidentifiable agents in unmarked vehicles with masks are planning to raid Latino communities and say they're targeting violent criminals. As we saw in Los Angeles, a very, very small percentage of the individuals they will target will be violent criminals. Instead, you're likely to see videos of them hauling away mothers and fathers, traveling to work or picking up their kids from school. Sometimes they will detain, handcuff, and haul away children. They are law-abiding individuals who pay taxes and contribute to the communities who feel safe going to work and attending mandatory immigration check-ins. In other words, they're following the law. We have reason to believe that Stephen Miller chose the month of September to come to Chicago because of celebrations around Mexican Independence Day that happen here every year. It breaks my heart to report that we have been told ICE will try and disrupt community picnics and peaceful parades. Let's be clear, the terror and cruelty is the point.
Governor Pritzker there, very sad to report. That is my governor in the state of Illinois, the poster boy for what the Democrat Party stands for right now, I suppose, is what does Trump do? We're going to take the absolute opposite opinion and perspective on it and trump it up to make it sensational. All the meanwhile, you're hurting the people, the residents, the citizens of your actual state and of your actual city there in Chicago. So frustrating. Let's get to our guest. Deroy Murdock joins us once again, nationally syndicated columnist, Project 21 ambassador, and Fox News contributor. Deroy, welcome back. Happy September. Good to have you here.
Any happy September. Great to talk to you again.
I've mentioned this to you before, but we work here in St. Louis, Missouri, but I live across the river, the Mississippi, in Illinois. And we as a show here have covered Illinois politics quite a bit, more than most. Usually it's flyover country. People don't pay attention to what lunacy is taking place in this blue state in the middle of the country. But J.B. Pritzker seems to be working very hard to be the national name for the Democrat Party. What does it look like from your perspective on the coasts of how J.B. Pritzker is handling this moment in time?
Not well at all. I think we have seen him being a left-wing, out of control, extremist governor, really, for the last, 3-4 years. Has he been his first term, second term at this point?
Second term, running for a third, we think.
Running for a third, there we go. And he's, I guess it only feels like 3 terms, even though it's only 2, right? In any case, certainly with what we're seeing in terms of crime, he gave that press conference last week where I think he was floating around in the Chicago River right under the Trump building, I think right around Wacker Drive, if I remember correctly, and saying, there's no crime. Chicago, never better. It's like Monaco or Nice or like Santa Barbara. It's just a lovely place. Well, you could do that in any part of town. You could, sit in the middle when in New York City when things were totally out of control here under David Dinkins. You could stand right in the middle of Rockefeller Center and say, wow, it's a lovely place. What's all the concern about crime? Well, you ought to go to the south side of Chicago and walk around those streets and tell people that things are hunky-dory and never been better. Last weekend, they had 58 people shot, 8 people killed. The weekend before that, I think it was something like 54, 55 shot, and I think 7 killed, something like this. So I don't know at what point is it going to be, 90 people shot and 15 killed? I don't know what the number is. Where he'll say, yeah, things are kind of out of control. We really need to get a handle on this and do what has happened under Muriel Bowser in Washington, D.C., which have the National Guard come in, reinforce the police department, engage in something very important, which is called visual enforcement. And that's not rolling down the streets with tanks blaring and shooting howitzers at people, which is what Pritzker, Brandon Johnson want people to think is going to happen. I kind of picture the guy in Tiananmen Square standing up to that tank back in 1989 or so. No, that's not the idea. A lot of it is visual enforcement. Very simply, if you're walking down the street and you're in a bad neighborhood and you see a Humvee with 3 or 4 National Guardsmen standing around it, not attacking it, just standing there, and you're a criminal, and you think, you know what? This is a lot of heat. I think I'm going to go somewhere else. And you go to a second location. You see another Humvee with a bunch of National Guardsmen there. You think, well, this isn't too good. You go to a third place and you see another Humvee with more National Guardsmen. And you think, you know what? This is not a really good day to do some crime. I think I'll go home and play some video games. And if you're at home doing video games, guess what? You're not robbing people. You're not beating people up. You're not raping anybody. You're not killing anybody. And the day Chicagoans are not being attacked, robbed, raped, or killed is a good day in Chicago. And this is the kind of days we're seeing in Washington, D.C., and I think Chicago and elsewhere should welcome people to come in and provide, if nothing else, that visual enforcement I described to you, to give criminals a sense that, hey, somebody's in control, somebody's watching, I better clean up my act or I'll end up in jail. And if they do that, then all of a sudden crime becomes much less of a problem, and people can go about their lives and get home and crawl into bed without being shot or shot or killed in between leaving work or whatever it is and going home.
We're speaking with Fox News contributor Deroy Murdock, of course, a nationally syndicated columnist as well. And Deroy, I'm reading this piece that you have right now that I encourage people to check out in The Spectator, because I love asking the question, like, what do we do next? And you're saying that the Republican Congress needs to legislate. And I want to jump to the portion of this article where you're talking about securing election integrity, because truthfully, in the state of Illinois, I think 44% of the state voted for Trump. Nobody would believe that for how Democrat and blue a state like Illinois is. But there's so much election funny business taking place in Illinois. Of course, the Chicago way, the Chicago machine has a distinct reputation for that. What would you like to see Congress do to secure election integrity that would help even places like blue state Illinois?
Absolutely. Well, the first overall point I have in this piece in The Spectator is that it is not a default or permanent condition that the House, Senate, and White House will remain in Republican hands. That's the case now, but we have no idea what could happen a year from now, and all of a sudden the Democrats win the House, and then you've got Speaker Hakeem Jeffries, and you could also have Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer going back in, and then the entire America First agenda stops, and it then just turns into impeachment nonstop. So while we have Republicans running the House, the Senate, and the White House, they need to get very busy passing a lot of bills. One of them ought to be on election integrity. And I think I like the fact that President Trump has talked about ending mass mail-in ballots. I think absentee ballots should be available if you are, here's a concept, absent from the polls. You're going to be away from town, or maybe you're an invalid or sick and you can't get to the polls, fine. But the idea that you're going to have just ballots sent out, millions of ballots sent to everybody on the voter rolls, whether people are living in Illinois or even whether they're alive or not, and you get either people who've moved away having ballots in their old locations or dead people getting ballots at their former homes that they used to occupy. That needs to end. Voter ID is perfectly appropriate, and you ought to be able to show who you are. And Democrats like to say, well, that's not fair to black people because black people can't handle getting voter ID. Well, I see a lot of black people driving cars, and I don't think those people are driving illegally. Some of them maybe are, but 99% of them have driver's licenses. And the idea that black people aren't smart enough to be able to get it together and get to the DMV and either get a driver's license or some kind of a state ID card or something like that is a rather racist notion, I'd say, much more racist than the idea that asking for it is somehow bigoted. I think we ought to move from this election quarter where you start voting, like in Virginia, for Winsome Sears is running for governor against Spanberger in the state of Virginia. I understand early voting begins September 19th, which is just 16 days from now. And they're going to vote for 45 days. That's insane. Now, even if you have totally honest people and there's no funny business going on, if you have ballots sitting around in storage for 45 days, you can have fires break out, you can have tornadoes hit, you can have hurricanes, you can have just things get lost. This isn't smart. And then you also have the problem of, let's say something happens, Spanberger does something totally inappropriate 2 weeks before the election, a week before the election. And people say, wow, I really don't want to vote for her. She's a monster. Well, guess what? You voted on September 23rd. Your ballot's already in a pile. Too late. You can't get it. Sorry. This isn't a good thing. So we need to go back to Election Day, which people show up on Tuesday. First Tuesday after the first Monday in November. If we need to turn it into a weekend thing where we vote over the weekend or we make it a national holiday, that's fine by me. But we need to narrow this down from this, weeks or even months of voting. Voter rolls need to be cleaned up. You've got people on voter rolls who are deceased, people who have moved away. Maybe they moved out of state. Maybe they've just moved across town, and so they've got ballots at the old residence and at the new residence. All that stuff needs to be cleaned up. And there's a federal law that requires this. And in fact, the Democrat Department of Justice, in a number of instances, most notably under Eric Holder with Obama, when the state of Florida tried to clean up its voter rolls, they sued them under the Voting Rights Act, saying it was discriminatory and kept them from cleaning their voter rolls, even though the federal motor voter law says you must clean your voter rolls. So the governor's just trying to follow the law, and when he did, he was accused of racism and stopped by the Department of Justice. So those are a few things in this article in The Spectator. I have other suggestions, but I agree with you. The vote situation we have in this country at best is incompetent and inefficient, and at worst is corrupt and fraud-ridden. And while the Republicans are in control of the U.S. House, the U.S. Senate, and the White House, they ought to get busy cleaning it up so we can have elections that are first world rather than third world. And, win, lose, or draw at the polls, you can say, well, either my candidate won, I'm happy, or, hey, my candidate lost, but at least it was, fought fair and square.
Right.
And we're certainly not in that situation now.
Yes, I completely agree. I think the fortifying of our election system, one that everybody trusts, if that's even a possible thing, is got to be goal number one. One other thing I wanted to highlight before we let you go, we've got Deroy Murdock on here, nationally syndicated columnist, Project 21 ambassador, and Fox News contributor. I want to talk about the hot tax, because I chuckled as I read this, and I think it's a great idea. The higher optional tax. What is this, and how could this be implemented?
This is an idea I've had and I've pushed for a while. And now, again, with Republicans in Washington, we got to get this on the 1040 form and all the various tax forms. People on the left sometimes will say, like wealthy people like Warren Buffett or Abigail Disney, one of the heirs to the Disney fortune, oh, I wish I paid more taxes. I really want to pay more taxes. And Democrats use that excuse to say, well, Warren Buffett wants to pay more taxes. So we're going to raise taxes on everybody. Now, if Warren Buffett feels guilty about his wealth and he wants to pay more taxes, that's great. But Warren, please keep your hands out of my pockets. And so we had something on the individual income tax forms, capital gains tax, corporate tax, death tax, et cetera. And it would just be a little box that would say the following. If you believe that your federal tax rate on this form is too low, please enter whatever higher tax rate you wish to pay. Multiply your taxable income by that rate, enter that amount here, and send it to the IRS. And so if Warren Buffett doesn't like his 30% tax bracket or whatever it is, and he'd rather pay, let's just say 47%, great. Put 47%, multiply by your adjusted gross income, and send that to the Treasury. And your guilt will go away, and you can expiate yourself of your guilt without increasing Annie Fry's taxes or Deroy Murdock's taxes or the taxes of anybody listening to our voices right now. Yeah. And everyone should be happy.
It's the hot tax.
Hot tax, higher optional tax. So let's put that option there. You don't have to do it if you don't want to. But, if that's what you want, that's what will make you happier to pay more tax on your tax forms, and, hey, knock yourself out. Just, stop picking the pockets of other people who are very, very happy paying lower taxes rather than higher taxes.
We've got Congressman Burlison coming on in 15 minutes. I might ask him to throw that out to the hot tax. Check out Deroy Murdock's hot tax. I think it's great. And it definitely puts the pressure. Yeah, exactly. There you go. It puts the pressure where the pressure needs to be put. So if you want to do this, then do it. If you believe this is what needs to happen, then go for it, and then brag about it.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, I paid 48% tax, so look at me. And by the way, my prediction is if we have that on there, nobody's going to do it. All these people who are screaming about paying higher taxes are not going to do it. They're going to pay whatever rate they're supposed to pay, and they will be shut up. They won't be able to say that anymore because that'll be there. And that particular rhetorical arrow that the left likes to shoot at us all the time will go away. Yeah. And they'll have other arrows, certainly, but it'd be good if we could take that arrow and just snap it over our knees and not have to worry about it anymore.
I have some family members that are tax attorneys. for big companies, and I'm just thinking of that box existing on a form that they have to look at, and I'm laughing. They fly all over the country trying to figure out how to maximize, or I should say minimize, the tax liability. And here's this box. It's like, here's your goodwill in this little box. Just put a little X there.
There you go. Well, tell them at Thanksgiving. Maybe they'll get back to you.
Deroy Murdock, thank you so much. It's always great to speak with you.
All right, Annie. Thanks very much. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. He is a nationally syndicated columnist. There's other great things in this article that I think are really interesting. Maybe we'll discuss them a little bit later in the show. Zero rights for illegal aliens. That's one of the things he has. No illegal aliens in the census. The census is such a huge point of interest for me in how we can get this country back to where it reflects the people in our government. The federal government should reflect the people who are legally in this country. Simple. That's a simple statement. And for the people who are not in this country legally, leave and come back legally. We'd love to have you. You're not unwelcome here, but you've come in an unwelcomed fashion. Just come in the right way, and we'd love to have you back. Obviously, securing election integrity, which we just discussed, codifying the president's executive orders. Some of that was done with the reconciliation package that took place a little bit earlier. No more rule by auto pen. The hot tax, which is just hilarious to me. He even mentions parliamentary hygiene. We can get into a little bit of that a little bit later in the show. Deroy Murdock, great as always. The Spectator is where that article is from. You can go check it out for yourself. All right, let's get a quick break. Ryan Wiggins back in studio next. Regarding the Epstein, is Trump guilty of anything? That's what we're asking you on the Annie Fry YouTube channel. Obviously no, obviously yes, or maybe. Katie says on YouTube, obviously no. If Trump was guilty of anything, the Dems would have used it against him last year to avoid a second Trump term. Who can disagree with that? Spot on, Katie. We'll be right back. Michael's Flooring Outlet, igotfloor.com. I was doing a little browsing on Michael's website, igotfloor.com, last weekend. You know, I've been talking about that carpet that my kids ruined upstairs, but I didn't want to buy new carpet that my kids would also ruin upstairs in my house. Well, I'm thinking about getting new carpet that I'm going to look at my kids and say, you will not ruin this carpet upstairs in my house. If I'm looking into a quality brand that's going to be able to stand up to my kids who will probably try to ruin the carpet upstairs in my house, that Smart Strand Mohawk silk line of carpeting has a silky softness, a superior performance. Each strand of the Smart Strand silk carpet is packed with 700 silk-like stain-resistant fibers. That's Fry Kids resistant fibers. I don't know if I am allowed to say that like with a little trademark at the end, but I should try. If you think you've got a flooring purchase in your near future, you want quality, you want value, and you want to be treated right. You want to have people who see you walk in and you say, I heard about you on 97.1 or on Michael's, or I heard about you on the Annie Fry Show talking about Michael's Flooring Outlet. What can you do for me? You're going to be welcomed in like family. And we've been doing that partnership for decades here on 97.1. Glad to be a part of it. Find all the details online at igotfloor.com.
Hi, it's Mark Cox. When I endorse a product or service on the radio, I take it seriously. I do my research. I did the same when I first met Gloria Lou with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty over 5 years ago. Gloria is here in studio today, and I'll ask the same question I asked you when we first met and before you helped me sell my home. Gloria, tell us, what sets you apart from other agents?
Well, number one is my guaranteed offers. I'm so confident that I'll sell your home at 100% of market value, or I'll pay the difference. Number two is I already have the buyers, so your home may already be sold. I literally have thousands of buyers in my Buyers in Waiting program. This is how I'm able to create higher demand, more offers, and that means more money in your pocket.
Friends, get to know Gloria Lou like I have. Upfront written guarantees with the least hassle. Call Gloria Lou right now at 314-325-6888. That's 314-325-6888, or visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com.
Gloria and seller must agree on price and possession date.
Viking, dedicated to creating travel experiences for the thinking person, with programs designed for cultural enrichment on board and on shore. Discover more at Viking.com. That's Viking.com. Viking.com.
Live, local, and conservative. It's the Annie Fry Show. 97.1 FM Talk.
Young Money. Nicki Minaj. Justin. Show you off. Tonight I wanna show you off.
Do you like Bieber?
No.
Do you dislike Bieber?
Yeah.
What's the matter with you?
I think he's and not, like get past all the fame and the cultural relevance of Justin Bieber. I just think his music's boring.
Ethan! Ethan's...
What, is he going to come in here and defend Bieber?
I think so. I think he loves Bieber.
Well, he loves Swift. I don't know if he loves Bieber.
I think he loves Bieber. I love Bieber.
Do you really?
Oh, yeah.
It's just, I don't know. It's just like the most plastic pop. And
Fight!
I think he actually is a
Fight!
talented musician. I just don't know that he's
Your
a
tune
great
is changing.
songwriter.
You just said he sucked.
Right.
Say something about Justin Bieber?
Yeah, I said something about Justin Bieber. I said
you want to go right here
Yeah,
in this
I kinda
studio?
do.
Ethan, you
Let's
were born
go.
in 2000?
Yeah, I was.
How much of your life has Justin Bieber been tops?
I mean, what was it, like 2007, 2008, when like you had like, he really started getting big with the Bieber flow, like the Bieber hair, like everyone flipped it to the side like that.
Is he close to your age?
He's probably a few years older than me. Probably. Yeah, he's probably like 4 or 5 years older than me, if I had to guess.
I don't know.
But yes, he was very early, and I hated him when I was younger
Because
it was like,
you were supposed to,
Justin
right?
Bieber,
Because you were a boy,
Yes.
and all the girls liked him, and he was cute. Have you ever seen the picture of Justin Bieber, probably 17, 18-year-old Justin Bieber, next to Zach Morris?
Who?
Oh, my gosh!
Next to the character
outta
Zach
here!
Morris, or is
I
it
knew
a
that was
picture
gonna
with
get that.
Mark Paul Gosselaar?
Do you know who Zach Morris is? Are you for real?
I'm for real.
Be so serious right now.
He doesn't
I'm
know.
hashtag so serious right now.
That's cool.
Zach Morris? That hurts
Wait, no,
me.
serious. Is he in a picture with
How do you
Mark
spell
Paul
Zach?
Gosselaar? Or is he just
Z-A-C-K.
Okay.
It's like it goes with Zack Attack.
Morris.
Everybody knows that. Friends forever.
That's a
Never
hot- that's a
seen
good
this
song.
dude before.
Now
What
that's
about
a good
AC
song.
Slater?
Wait, I think this is a different Zach Morris.
That is not Zach Morris. Whoever that person that came up there, that's
I
not
don't know
who we're
you're
talking about.
talking about.
I will find it and I will put it up in the stream. I really, I think that Justin Bieber is talented, and I think that he's so popular that he hasn't had the ability to be recognized as talented, but I do think he is. I don't think that's.
I think the exact opposite of that.
You don't listen to enough Justin Bieber music if that's what your opinion is about.
You're right. I
Wait,
only
who?
know
me or Ryan.
Ryan.
I
If you
only
think his
know the
music
stuff
is boring,
that the radio plays.
yeah, which is, I don't. I like Justin Bieber's music, and I think it's actually pretty entertaining. And this is coming from someone who hated him, and the older I've gotten, the more
You didn't hate him. You were jealous.
I hated the idea of Justin Bieber being the teeny bopper. All the girls love him. I'm looking at this picture on the.
Okay.
That's who he is.
Okay, I see
That's,
it. I see it.
That's the image of Zach Morris, who was from Saved by the Bell. You heard of that?
You
Yeah,
heard to say by
I've
the
heard of
bell?
that.
Zach Morris is
The phrase
the
or
lead.
the show?
I've just
Heard
heard
of
it
both.
chatted about.
But look at that picture of Justin Bieber. He just looks annoying in that picture. I was probably 12 when that picture was
It's
taken.
because the girls were swooning.
Probably. Maybe I was a little jealous.
Do you,
But
do you remember being in high school, especially like your first year or two in high school, homecoming was coming around? Did you have a compulsion to be like, I gotta ask a girl to this thing?
Heck no. I don't care about homecoming. I don't care about any of that crap.
But I'm gonna wait.
it's because
hold
you had
that
no
thought.
prospects.
Ethan, do you remember that feeling?
Yeah.
Like the thought of, if I were ever gonna do this, now is when I'm gonna have to.
First
do
couple of
this.
years. The first couple of years, you're like, okay, pressure's on.
Like,
Especially year
you've got
one.
a blank space.
Yeah.
And you got to fill that blank space.
Yes.
Do you remember that?
Uh-huh.
Brad?
Yeah, I remember that.
I don't believe you, Ryan.
What do you mean a blank space?
You need to
your
get a girl.
heart.
It's an accessory
Yes.
to your coolness.
Oh, gosh, no, not at all. I
Bull
was
crap.
fulfilled.
You're saying that because you didn't go. Whatever. You asked the prettiest girl in high school out because you thought she was into you, and she was like, no. And you were like, why?
Yeah. And then guess who didn't lower their standards for homecoming? Me.
You didn't ask anybody.
No. I didn't go to homecoming. I went to prom.
You didn't go?
No. That was just not a thing. It existed, but nobody cared that
Ethan,
much
did you
about
go to
it.
your dances?
Yeah, I went to
Formals?
all of them.
Brad?
Nope, just senior
Didn't-
prom.
God dang it, you
Wow.
people.
I went to every.
I
went to
wasn't
all
going
12.
solo.
But going solo was better.
You just go with buddies.
You go with your friends.
Yeah?
No,
That's
you
not
don't
how
go
that
to
worked
prom
for
with
me
your
in high
buddies.
school.
Time out. Congressman Burlison next. We will continue this discussion in the 2 o'clock hour.
That's a great reason to stop. We got to go talk to a U.S. representative.
The show is a little schizophrenic. But we'll get to Congressman Burlison next. He's on a tight schedule, so I want to make sure that I don't lose that opportunity to speak with him. But I do want to talk about it because it is kind of homecoming season. We're a couple weeks into school right now, and I was at a football game, Metro East Lutheran High School football game. I'm not going to out the kids. Their family might be listening, but I saw a homecoming, a HOCO. That's what you call it now. HOCO, Propo, Zol, and I hate them.
Yeah, that was gross sounding.
They said yes. Everybody was happy, but we're going to talk about all that stuff because I'm like, I do. But let's discuss in the 2 o'clock hour. When we come back, we will not talk about that with Congressman Eric Burlison. We'll talk about something else. We'll be right back.
I always get asked when's the best time of the year to purchase an air conditioning and heating system for your home. My response is always the same. If you call me and have a free consultation on your needs and based on your budget, it's always a good time. There's never a bad time. You don't fear my pricing. I try to buy as much as I can at the start of the season, and anything we have left over, it's still a discounted price to you. So if you're looking or you're waiting before winter, because we all put it off, man. We all put it off. None of us like to spend money. But if you know you're going to be doing something before winter, call me, Bart Inman. One easy number in Missouri and Illinois. It's 314-293-2600. Or on the internet, bartinman.com. That is Bart with a B, Inman with an I.com. God bless.
Don't get lulled into believing the IRS is getting soft. It's just the opposite. Hi, this is Lance Story with the Lance Story Law Firm. We are being told by IRS collection officers that their higher-ups are demanding that they get more aggressive than ever. So don't ignore them any longer. Level up. If you have unfiled returns, unpaid taxes, levies, or liens, call the Lance Story Law Firm today and let us get between you and the IRS. We'll protect your rights, including your right to appeal or even your right to take the IRS to tax court. Remember, IRS problems are legal problems, and they need to be handled by an expert attorney team who's done it for decades. So call the Lance Story Law Firm today. We're local. Our office is right here in St. Louis, or visit Lance, D-R-U-R-Y, law.com to schedule your free consultation with your local tax resolution law firm, the Lance Story Law Firm, 314-260-6120.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
The YouTube live chat poll today regarding Epstein: is Trump guilty of anything? Let us know your answer to that question by typing in Any Fry on YouTube and finding today's stream. That's where you can vote. It is 1:30. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
For details and a list of all station contest rules, visit www.971talk.com/rules. Freedom has a frequency. 97.1 FM Talk. 97.1 FM Talk. St. Louis Conservative.
I do have to ask, and I know, and it's just something that I think we're compelled to at this moment, with the attention on President Trump, with these questions around a pardon. Did anybody see or hear of the president himself doing anything inappropriate as it related to Jeffrey Epstein?
No. NBC's report asking these survivors of the Epstein, just horrific story of what we know so far, saying, no. Once again, another installment in this step-by-step process of getting to the bottom of whatever the Epstein stuff is. Donald Trump has continued to be put in the spotlight, and people are saying, no, he wasn't involved. You have to really ask yourself the question, these investigations, are we getting to the bottom of what Epstein did? Or politically, it seems like in the conversation that takes place in the media quite often, it just surrounds Donald Trump. I want to get to our guest. Congressman Eric Burlison joins us. He represents Missouri's 7th Congressional District, and he is a member of the House Oversight Committee, as well as the Freedom Caucus. Congressman, thank you for being with us today. It's always great to have you here on the show.
Great to be on, Annie.
I want to give you the opportunity to talk about your experience on the Oversight Committee and set the table for us. What do you want the people in the 7th Congressional District here in Missouri and everybody else listening to understand about what the Oversight Committee is trying to do, looking into everything Jeffrey Epstein?
Yeah, so we, whenever they were not doing, in my opinion, a good job of getting the information out of the Department of Justice, I think that we just felt like we needed to remind them that this is important. This was a campaign issue, and that this is an injustice that we're not going to let continue, to stand. And these victims deserve to have their voices heard, and for the people that victimized them to face justice. And so I signed on to Thomas Massey's bill. I'm a co-sponsor on his bill to release the Epstein files, and in that kind of spurred, in my opinion, the Oversight Committee, Chairman Comer, we had votes within the committee to do just that, to actually release the documents and go further. We're asking for the release of information from the Epstein estate, as well as we're bringing in people to testify, or subpoenaing people really left and right. You've got Republican attorney generals, Democrat attorney generals. We've subpoenaed Ghislaine Maxwell. So we're getting to the bottom of this in oversight, which is why I think I feel a lot more confident that we'll be able to get to some answers.
Yeah, I think it's really important. The transparency is what a lot of people, I think, voted for when they voted for President Trump, when they voted for Republicans in Congress to support President Trump's America First agenda. It feels from where we sit, and I know that you feel this, as somebody who cares deeply about this country, where it's been and certainly where it's going, it feels like there is a system set up to protect the American people from the truth. And releasing these documents, the Oversight Committee posted on X 20 hours ago that we just released all the subpoenaed documents from the DOJ related to Jeffrey Epstein. You can access them there at oversight.house.gov. When people talk about the Epstein files, I don't even know if our listeners really understand what Epstein files actually means. This 30,000 documents. Can you give us some background on what that means when you talk about it?
Yeah, to me, you don't know until you know, right?
Yeah.
You won't know what's available and what's accessible until you do kind of discovery. And I think that's kind of where things are. And one of the questions I think that what's clear that happened, and the reason why there may be a lack of documentation and evidence, is that they truly didn't, for whatever reason, they did not really thoroughly investigate him. When you hear Ghislaine Maxwell say she's never spoken to anyone in the Justice Department, no one's ever interviewed her. That's crazy. And so whenever Jim Acosta, who was the prosecuting, or he was the U.S. District Attorney in Florida, who was prosecuting Epstein, and he gave him this basically sweetheart deal. At one point he mentioned that he was told that Epstein belongs to intelligence, and so that a lot of things have pointed that direction, that there may be. I mean, that's the big rumor in D.C. is that really this is about the intelligence community covering their tracks in their relationship with Epstein, which is not unusual. They did the same thing with JFK and Lee Harvey Oswald. They did everything they could to cover the tracks of their relationship with Oswald, and I have a feeling that's what's happening here. Why we're seeing such resistance in getting this information.
Congressman Eric Burlison speaking with us right now, Missouri's 7th Congressional District Representative, also a member of the House Oversight Committee. So you're deeply involved in trying to get to the bottom of this. Do you feel as though, Congress moves at a glacial pace? That's intentional. The Founding Fathers intended for that. But do you feel as though the Oversight Committee and the people in charge of this, which my understanding is there's some bipartisan support in moving this forward. Is it getting anywhere? Are the American people, is there going to be an end to this?
I hope there is, and I think there could be. It depends. We met with the victims yesterday and with their attorneys, and who have been investigating this for almost 20, 30 years, right? And this, the attorney said, follow the money. And so he gave us some insight as to where to go as a committee. I don't think that anybody had heard that before. So that was kind of and he said, nobody's really followed the money, and that there are two people that are associated with Epstein that stand to benefit, from this huge estate that he has, that we need to follow the money. And the other thing we heard from the victims is that I think you played today that while Trump was not even remotely involved, there were people that were, whether they were a butler or the driver of these limousines that would pick these girls up at the airport, whether it was the chef that Jeffrey Epstein had. These people that he employed all had to know what was going on, and it's befuddling to me why these people are not having to face justice, because they, when you picked up a 14-year-old girl at the airport and drove her to Jeffrey's residence, you're complicit in, you have to know that something wrong is going on. So I think that's one of the things that they asked, because from the victims' perspectives, they very much felt like everybody was in on it that worked for Epstein.
People were in the know. They knew what was going on.
Yeah.
Let me ask you, it's going to maybe sound like a super dumb question, but I dare to ask it anyway, because, you mentioned President Trump's name there. I feel like the conversation, the surface level conversation that takes place in the super fast paced media is like, it's not like, what did Epstein do? It's what did Trump do? That is, it's not valuable to discuss if it doesn't sink Trump's ship somehow. And I want to set that aside for right now. You just said something about a 14-year-old girl getting picked up from the airport and delivered to Jeffrey Epstein. What are the facts that you can provide us on the public airwaves right now that we know about what Jeffrey Epstein was doing?
Oh, yeah. I mean, this has all been covered for decades, right? What he's been doing, and or what he was doing before he was finally caught. One of the things that we heard that was very disturbing, we had two individuals. I think we had about 8 victims that were testifying to us in a closed door room, and out of their privacy, I'm not going to say their names, but one of them told the story about how she, when she was molested by Epstein, and kind of how they kind of groomed her into that. And then whenever she was she testified in the case against him. And during the time that he was going through that trial, the judge had given him, where he's able to be house arrest, right? And the other victim said that it was during that time that he was on house arrest that he molested me. And so when you hear that, it just feels like it's a stab. It feels like a kick in the gut, because you could sense it from these victims. They felt like, especially imagine you were a, vulnerable 14-year-old girl, or even like, once this drama is unfolding and you're in your mid-20s and you're testifying, you think that this government is going to have your back. You think that law enforcement is going to do the right thing, and they don't. And they let this guy, and that's why this is such a painful thing that we've watched, is that the system really let these women down.
I think just listening to that anecdote of your experience in these conversations, being on the House Oversight Committee, it's so important to me, and you're not asking for my advice, but I want more discussion about what Epstein was actually doing. I want the actual reality of the situation. I feel like we've been talking about it for so long, like you mentioned. This stuff has been out there for decades. It's a rabbit hole that I would encourage nobody to go down because it's so depraved. It's so sad. But the truth of the matter is way worse than the politics that people are trying to make out of it. And it just cheapens everything so much when the people who, are in my position or have the ability to talk about this, because at the end of the day, they're trying to score point for Trump or against Trump. Like, that is so not the subject matter here. Maybe if it included him at some point, that would certainly be a part of it, but it would not be the whole of it. You're sitting here talking to these women who experience something like I have daughters. I know you have daughters as well. Like, as soon as you internalize that as a parent, I want to run through a wall over considering the possibility of that happening to somebody that I care about.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I mean, whenever I was sitting there, I was thinking about the fact that I have two daughters, and I would have killed Jeffrey Epstein if he had done to my daughters what he and would have been willing to go to jail happily. But it was really sad. Some of the victims that were testifying to us today, because I mean, they're still young. They have young children and daughters, and anytime they would bring up, the women that did say that they have a daughter, that's when you could tell that emotionally it was overwhelming for them, because they would never want anything like that to happen to their daughters. What happened to them? Yeah.
Congressman Burlison with us, just so that I can get your clear-eyed goal here. When you are hearing these stories, Jeffrey Epstein is dead. However he got dead, we could look into that, whatever, but he's dead. Where is justice found for these victims?
I think that they're right. I think that we need to follow the money. And I think that, if we can follow the money, make the connections, we'll see where that goes. And the truth is, I'm willing to go wherever the truth takes us. And I think that one of the other rumors is that there were some major prolific donors that are connected, whether they are innocent or not, that they are concerned about being named, or people that have their legacy is potentially impacted. And I'm like, that's too bad.
Yeah,
that's too bad. If you're innocent, then if we're gonna release people's names and all that, we should release any exculpatory evidence that might clear somebody's name, right? But at the end of the day, the American people should decide. And as a politician, you meet thousands upon thousands of people every year, right? Odds are somewhere in that group of people. In fact, every day I'm taking selfies with people every day. It doesn't mean that I'm participating in the whatever sinful activity that person is doing when no one's looking. I don't know that. Like, I just, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, Americans understand that.
And I think that when it comes to Trump, I think people understand that. Like, it was clear Epstein wanted to be around Trump to get a photo and just to build his profile, to build his reputation. It didn't mean that. And in no way, like, to jump to the conclusion that means that also whoever was photographed with him must have been also doing the same thing is jumping to making way too much of it.
Those people, they wake up with their conclusion. They just fill the details in during the day to reach the same conclusion they went to bed with, over and over and over again. Congressman Burlison, it's an honor to talk to you today, to get some of this insight and some of your connection to getting to the bottom of it and the transparency. And I really appreciate and respect your willingness to get to the truth, no matter who it involves, and to expose that for the American people. We need a lot more of that, Congressman, and we're grateful you're sharing that with us here on our show.
Thank you. Appreciate you, Annie.
Thank you so much. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye. Congressman Eric Burlison, Missouri's 7th Congressional District, member of the House Oversight Committee. So right there in the thick of it with all of this Epstein stuff that's going on Capitol Hill. Quick break. YouTube live chat poll regarding Epstein. Is Trump guilty of anything? Obviously no. Obviously yes. Or maybe. Your vote and your comments on the Annie Fry YouTube channel when we come back. Don't go away.
It ain't me. It ain't me. I ain't no fortune in pawn.
The Dittemore Group online at thedittemoregroup.com. Please consider calling Tammy Dittemore and her team at 618-531-4652, 618-531-4652. The Dittemore Group is tops. When you partner with the Dittemore Group, you're with the number one team and the number one office in the Metro East. The Dittemore Group partnered with RE/MAX Alliance. They understand exactly how to prepare you for a top dollar sale when it's time to list your home. There's a lot more inventory being listed right now, at least according to my research. You want to make sure that you are putting yourself in the most competitive circumstances to get top dollar for your house. You don't want to list it wrong for one person and have to have the dreaded pull it off the market and then put it back on, and people are like, what's wrong with this house? Why is it getting on and off the market? Go with the best, the A-team at the Dittemore Group. The first time, 618-531-4652. 618-531-4652. TheDittemoreGroup.com.
From border security to school choice, the Constitution to the culture war. Made in America. Heard in the Midwest. You're listening to 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Setting goals for your retirement is one thing, but knowing how to achieve those goals is another.
What are your wishes, hopes, and dreams? What's retirement look like for you? Because everybody, that picture is different.
For tips on building a better nest egg, listen to the All Financial Hour with Steve All, Saturday mornings at 6, here on 97.1 FM Talk.
You can also visit yourmoneymattersstl.com for more details.
To have a roof over your head, a nice roof over your head, is very important.
That's Rick talking about his experience with Rhino Shield ceramic coating.
We got Rhino Shield 18 years ago, and they were very cooperative on getting us the right paint. They were in and out and done in no time. Once it was finished, looked great. We were very happy with it.
The main reason Rick called Rhino Shield is because it's backed by a 25-year transferable warranty.
We've watched a lot of people get their house painted 3 or 4 times, and we haven't had to do any of it. I don't know about you guys, but I don't want to have to paint it every 5-7 years.
Take a tip from Rick and put down the paintbrush and call Rhino Shield for your free evaluation. 877-25-RHINO. 877-25-RHINO. Or visit 877-25rhino.com.
We got Rhino Shield 18 years ago. Financially makes sense, especially if it's going to last like this did. Still looks great.
Call now. 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com.
Don't paint, don't Rhino, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Accidents can happen in the blink of an eye, especially in a busy city like St. Louis. Whether you're a rideshare driver or passenger, injuries can leave you feeling lost, confused, and unsure of where to turn. At Kaufman Townsley, we understand. We're from here. We live in St. Louis, and we know what it takes to fight for the rights of our neighbors. We're here to help you through the difficult time with the experience and care you deserve. Kaufman Townsley, real people, real results. Call 314-500-5000. That's 314-500-5000.
Now, back to the Annie Fry Show. Real talk for real people. 97.1 FM Talk.
'90s, late '90s.
Oh no, early
'90s.
Early '90s. It's a good song.
It's such a mood.
Yeah,
I like it.
Yeah, it's alternative is a thing, man.
It is.
And after about '94, nothing sounded like that.
You know what I like about alternative music? The mood. It's kind of a Zero Fudge Brownies Given mood, where it's not about being angry. It's not about being sad. It's about being, I feel like alternative music is about having an opinion about whatever it is that's not mainstream and just going on and minding your business with your own opinions and not caring that it's not the mainstream thing.
And it is so Gen X.
Yes.
That's the epitome of Gen X.
I completely agree. Emo is like, I feel sad, everybody. Everybody, I feel sad.
Notice me.
Sad. I'm really sad. I'm crying. I'm still sad.
My hair looks sad.
I want you to know that I'm sad. It's like, okay.
But it's also like, but don't pay attention to me, though. Don't stop paying attention to me.
I'm sad.
Don't look at me.
Yeah.
You're looking, right?
Quit looking at me, Swan. I just feel like alternative is the way that you express independence and indifference to other people's. We talked the other day. I've thought about this a lot. Charlie Kirk is in my YouTube algorithm. My kids, they're all in school, so they can't hear me. But I put on YouTube that I think that they're not going to like, so that they don't sit in front of the TV.
Okay.
So if I'm like, they all have jobs in the house. They all have like regions in the house that they're responsible for. So it's like, don't come ask me for anything until that's taken care of. I'm trying to teach them that we have responsibilities, that if you want things in life, if you put a little effort into it first, and then you come ask for, Mom, can I fill in the blank here? And I realized, oh, all the dishes are done, or the table in the family room is cleaned, or the steps are cleaned off and the office is tidy. You're going to much more likely get a yes to whatever your Mom, can I? So what I do is Fuller House, that show is on in my house all the time. Because I don't feel like I have to police it. I trust it enough, but I can't handle. I'm going to snap the next Fuller House episode I walk into. All the canned laughter, the jokes are so lazy. Oh, it's offensive to me.
Have you ever tried laughing every time canned laughter laughs? You should try that.
Yeah, but like in a like the Joker, Heath Ledger kind of way. Yeah, it's like making me nuts. I can't. All the TV that I allow my kids to watch is insufferable. I can't handle it.
I encourage the person listening, next time you watch any sitcom, I don't care if it's a good sitcom or a bad one, laugh every time the audience laughs. And just as an experiment.
If you're ever watching a show and you go like this, watching it, that's a huge compliment.
Pretty big, especially
because
if you're alone.
You can be entertained by and watch something, be completely amused, but you very rarely will actually emote.
Yeah. Once in a while, I'll laugh out loud at something and go, man, that was really
good. You got me. So I'll turn on things on generally speaking, YouTube. Fox News will get on the TV a lot, but I'm, in the wake of the Minneapolis shooting or whatever, I don't put that on the house. I just don't watch TV I don't watch news in front of my kids in the wake of that. But Charlie Kirk comes up in the playlist, and it'll be him arguing with people. One of the things that has come up recently is him talking about dating and the dating pool. And he's on this one podcast. I wish I could remember the name. It was like, Let's Have a Cup of Coffee or something like that. I don't know.
Sounds like the name of every podcast.
Yeah. And it's these two young guys, just conservative-minded guys. And he's like, men should always, he's like, I would be mortified and forever humiliated if I were ever on a date and I let the woman pay. And this stuff was going on, and my son was walking around the room. I'm like, oh, leave this on. He needs to know these things. And one of the men said, and they were younger than Charlie. I would guess that they were maybe 7 years younger than Charlie Kirk. And the one guy's like, no, I usually go back and forth. Like, we try to do it splitsies. I think it's fair. And he was talking about he's like, I do it for cost reasons because if I don't have the money, I don't feel like I should be spending the money. And Charlie Kirk is like, I would go into irresponsible debt to not have to have that burden on me, to have a woman pay for a date that I was on. And he couldn't believe it. And then this guy says to Charlie Kirk, but don't you think that the woman wants to pay sometimes to feel like she's an equal part? He's like, no, that's feminism. And I thought, oh my gosh, that actually is. The whole balance, the whole system of courtship and dating has always been a pursuer and the pursued. The idea that there is a man who identifies a female that they are interested in, and this is carnally exactly the way that I feel, which is, you know how much I've put up a fight about whether or not when I went on to that Cardinals baseball game with my husband, whether or not that was a date. And I have a signed piece of paper that he gave me completely unsolicited. He gave it to me for our anniversary or something. He's like, the Cardinals game wasn't a date. Our first date was when I asked you out. Jared Fry. I have that piece of paper in my bathroom. But it's important to me to not be the pursuer. I don't want to be the pursuer. I want to be the pursued. And feminism has turned the whole thing upside down on its head. And now you have men out there thinking that women actually want to be seen as equals when it comes to dating and paying for things. Is that really where we are right now? I will say, as a 41-year-old, very committed woman, no, that's not what we want. We want you to pay, and we want you to pay every time. Maybe we'll give you some gifts along the way. Let's talk about homecoming proposals next. Don't go away.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon for Underdog Fantasy, and football is back, and Underdog is the best place to select entries and win money all season long. And, of course, now you can play in Missouri, and playing on Underdog is easy. Once you download the app, you come up with a username. I'm going to guide you into some bonus credits here in a moment, but when you play on Underdog, you choose whether your favorite players will go higher or lower on stats. So for football, super easy. Touchdowns, receiving yards, interceptions, and more. You get your entries right, you can win up to 5,000 times your cash, and you can play with as little as $1. Download the app and sign up with the promo code MARKR to score $50 in bonus funds when you play your first $5. Again, that's the promo code MARKR. Underdog, make plays, win money. Millions of fans have already won billions making plays on Underdog. Will you be next? Must be 18 plus and present in Missouri. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/play and get terms _DFS_.html for details. Concerned with your play, call 800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org.
HomeshieldFoundationRepairs.com. If you have a crack in your concrete, let me talk to you about a specific instance where you might really need to call 314-227-9636. That's 314-227-9636. Your garage. If you have a concrete foundation and there is a crack in it, and if it has started to shift at all, you could have a very, very expensive repair headed your way if you don't address the issue right now. Matt Hayes at Home Shield Foundation Repair, local St. Louis, family-owned business, can come to your home, to your garage, and make sure that that foundation is fortified. Make sure that it's solid, that you can trust it and rely on it. You do not want that foundation of that garage caving in on itself with cars in it. Oh, my gosh, that's terrifying. He'll use poly jacking system, which takes polyurethane foam, lifts it up, the concrete up, so it becomes level, and he slaps a 5-year warranty on it so you can trust the longevity of it. 314-227-9636, 314-227-9636, HomeshieldFoundationRepairs.com.
KFTK FM Florissant from the Kaufman Townsley St. Louis's Injury Lawyers Studio. Call 314-500-5000.
That's 314-500-5000.
All on the free Odyssey app.
More drug boats will be attacked. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. That from Secretary of State Marco Rubio defending the U.S. strike in the Caribbean yesterday, killing 11 people the Trump administration says were members of a terrorist Venezuelan gang carrying drugs bound for the U.S.
Interdiction doesn't work because these drug cartels, what they do is they know they're going to lose, 2% of their cargo. They bake it into their economics. What will stop them is when you blow them up, when you get rid of them.
Rubio says the boat hit yesterday was in international waters. Venezuela's leader accuses the Trump administration of plotting to oust him with a buildup of U.S. forces in the region. A fentanyl-related federal takedown.
Operation Box Cutter in the Southern District of Ohio leads to indictments and sanctions of 4 Chinese pharmaceutical companies, 22 Chinese nationals, and 3 defendants here in the U.S. accused in a scheme to promote, sell, and distribute cutting agents, including synthetic opioids, to increase yields and the potency of fentanyl for distribution.
Unless you track down every single person and business and entity and flow of money involved in it, you will never break the wheel. We are here today to break the wheel of fentanyl trafficking.
FBI Director Kash Patel, overdoses from synthetic opioids like fentanyl, now the leading killer of young Americans from 18 to 45.
Fox's Jeff Benasso. President Trump suggesting again he'll soon expand the federal crime crackdown in D.C.
We have a great thing going. I could do that with Chicago. We could do that with New York. We could do it with Los Angeles. So we're making a determination now. Do we go to Chicago or do we go to a place like New Orleans?
Also, again, criticizing Democratic city and state leaders critical of military intervention. Florida health officials launching an effort to scrap childhood vaccine mandates, arguing it's about personal choice. Some changes would need legislative approval. America is listening to Fox News.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation, an irregular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduced stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. Stroke risk may increase. Eliquis can cause serious and potentially fatal bleeding. Don't take if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or bleed longer. A spinal injection increases blood clot risk, which may cause paralysis. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding or bruising, or back pain, tingling, numbness, muscle weakness, or incontinence. Aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
A cold front will be kicking through the St. Louis area late today into the evening, so keep an eye out for a couple of scattered thunderstorms, not anticipating anything severe. But today, ahead of that front, it's the warmest afternoon in a long time, 87. Scattered showers and thunderstorms tonight, up until about 9, 10 o'clock. 56 for the low Thursday, wonderful. Partly to mostly sunny at 75. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
You're listening to the Annie Fry Show Live, sponsored by Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation. Time to schedule your air conditioner service. Get not just your AC, but your entire HVAC system checked for $19 a month with the Preferred Partner Plan, and stay cool this summer. Visit aircomfortservice.com.
Annie Fry, Ryan Wiggins, Brad Ray.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride. What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
For goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show on 97.1 FM Talk.
It's homecoming season. Everybody loves homecoming season except for Ryan because he's too good for it.
Thank you for putting me above instead of below it.
Is that what you think? You thought?
I didn't care about it.
I
was super Gen X cracker low about it.
You're a millennial. Did you think, like, ever when you were in high school, you went to 0 homecomings? 4 years in high school, 0 homecomings?
I think so.
2 proms?
Yeah.
That's it?
That's the only dances I went to, was prom.
Is that normal? What percentage of the high school would you guess? I know you don't have the exact statistic. What percentage would you say participated in homecoming?
The dance part?
Yeah.
A quarter?
That's it?
Wow.
Yeah, it was pretty low.
What cliques of people went to homecoming?
I don't know. My class was weird because we didn't have a lot of cliques. I would say that the class above me or below me that I knew of, it was the really, really plugged in, semi-popular people that went.
Okay. What was your idea of what homecoming would be? You don't know because you didn't go, right?
Right.
What was your perception?
A bunch of people dressed up in a gym. That was it. And that's why we were like, I'm not going to that.
Boys on one side, girls on the other, staring at one another.
No.
Not in high school.
Yeah, not in high
Not at
school.
all.
That would have been earlier. No, my perception was that it was really unnecessary considering that we had prom. And
But you don't as a freshman or sophomore.
You're right. And at that point, I really didn't care. But by the time I got a little older, it was like, oh, okay, should probably get a date and go to prom. And so, I went through that process then. But homecoming was a no-go.
Was your prom date a girl that you liked? Well, I don't want to, I don't know if this girl's listening. Was it like a friend relationship or was it?
Okay, my junior prom, it was a girl that I just did not.
Was it a girl?
Yes. I did not know her, and I thought she was cute, and so I just tried to get to know her, and then asked her to go to prom, and that was it. And
was it good? Was it fun?
Yeah, we didn't really click that well, and so we dated, we went on a date before prom to try to get to know each other a little bit better, and then we did prom, and we went with a lot of people that were all together.
Yeah.
And so we had a good time, but she and I had nothing in common.
Did you know that after the date before homecoming?
Kinda, but like you don't want to admit it because okay, we got to go spend a night together here.
Too uncomfortable to be like, nah, this ain't gonna work after date one.
Yeah, but it was fine. I mean, it was completely fine. Nothing wrong. She had a good time. I think. I think we all did. So that went well. But there was no like romance.
Where was your prom? Collinsville High School.
I think it was downtown here somewhere.
In St. Louis?
Yeah, it was at a real nice hotel.
I would have thought it would have been at the convention center.
No, it was at a hotel down here, and I can't remember the name of it. If you said it, I'd know it. But it was a really nice one downtown.
Do you regret not doing more of those things?
No, because we were very active. I was active in lots of different clubs and
Social
sports
groups,
and things. Not only with my friend groups, but just with lots of other people. We had a really good senior class or graduating class. We still, even now, the class of 99, we'll have our 20-year anniversary and our 30th is coming up. And it'll be huge turnout for these things because everybody kind of got along.
I graduated in 2002, and we don't. I think there is a distinct difference, and it's right around that age where people, I mean, not to say that if you're the class of 99, you're not connected on social media, but social media, Facebook occurred my sophomore year of college. So it's not like you were connected on social media in high school, but you could really quickly start connecting with people on social media in college that you do in high school. So that connection was there. When it comes to asking a girl to a dance, you said that you asked this girl, you said your junior prom?
Yeah.
What about your senior prom?
Senior, I went with a friend.
It was a date with a friend that was a girl.
A girlfriend.
And everybody understood.
Yeah, we had no intention to date.
Was it fun?
Yeah.
I went to my senior prom with my lifelong best friend, and we had a fantastic time. It was just go have a great time. He didn't go to school with us. I went to grade school with him, but great family friend, still great friends. He's my son's godfather. Right now, there is a thing in asking people to go to a dance with you, and you have to make a sign and a display and do something clever. Ethan, can you explain to us? I mean, promposals is what they're often referred to, but it's homecoming, and people are doing these for homecoming as well. Can you explain this super weird ritual?
Gone are the days of just walking up to the pretty girl and saying, hey, you want to go to the dance with me? Ryan, you would get rejected even harder than you did back then. Those days are over.
Can you imagine what Ryan Wiggins would have done with the opportunity for a promposal?
Yeah, he probably would have thrived during this
I
time
probably would have
period,
gone
honestly.
big if I thought it would have gotten me anywhere.
So how do I describe this? Basically, I think the idea, right, is that now it has to be done in a super creative way.
Why?
Whether it's with a fancy catchphrase or this really cool poster that has a really funny saying on it. Or, I'm assuming, my guess is you said there was one at
a homecoming
Metro
game.
East,
Or not at the homecoming
at
game.
the Metro East Lutheran football game.
Yes.
Some people held up signs that said HOCO for HOCO.
Mm-hmm.
That's my guess for what it probably said. And then the cheerleader turned around and she's like, oh, yeah, I'll go to homecoming with you. How close is that?
I don't know the kids specifically what their I don't know if it was a football player and a cheerleader. I don't know what their roles were, but pretty much.
Yep, that's so basically everything has to be bigger these days. It has to be a big thing. It has to be.
I'm asking you a question that I know the answer to.
What's your answer? I don't. I mean,
social media.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
It's
no,
all,
that is
it's
it.
all
That is
for
it.
the visuals.
That's exactly what it is.
It's all for this comparative life that kids today are living on social media. That is a tragedy to me.
I will say.
Now listen.
Okay.
I don't want this to be specific, because I saw multiple promposals taking place so far this year. This is what you do. I would not ever if my son wanted to ask a girl, I would not be like, don't you do that, because that girl's gonna be like, where's my homecoming proposal? So I'd be advising my son negatively. I feel bad that kids. specifically, when my husband and I had talked about, yes, we want to get married, and there was a proposal that would come at some point, I was like, do not do this in a public place or in a public way. I get super uncomfortable thinking about being... So that's, that's not for everybody. There are other people who are like, you better do this up and do this good. So I totally understand it's a case-by-case situation. I feel like it puts too much pressure on the boy, and I think it puts too much... there's too much expectations on these girls to where if the boy doesn't do it in a way that is as cool as another boy, that you've got unmet expectations because he didn't do enough to public. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Blech. I don't like it. I don't get a say in it. But I as the mother to a high school son and next year a high school daughter, I don't know which one of those situations makes me more uncomfortable for my kids.
I think I know how I would have done it. Okay, you're sitting in a class.
Uh-huh.
You got a cool teacher because the teacher's got to be cool for this to happen. And a random homeless guy shuffles into the room.
Ryan, there's no homeless people at your disposal.
Wait a minute. He didn't just shuffle into the room. Beard off, hat off, drops the clothes. It's your boyfriend. It's your boyfriend, and he's pulling out a sign, and the sign is in the shape of a guitar, and right where you'd strum it, it says, "I pick you." Like a guitar pick.
We have a photo up. Is this you, Ethan?
That's me my sophomore year of high school. I was 15.
With a proposal.
Wow.
It's hard to see. It's kind of small.
That doesn't look a lot like you.
What do you call that
I was
clapper
skinny.
thing? What do you call the clapper thing?
The one that the directors hold. They say action and then they hit the thing.
It's just called the clicker, I think.
And it said on it, homecoming would be action-packed with you. Stuff like that is exactly what homecoming proposals, prom proposals are like now.
She's holding a popcorn thing.
Yeah, I got her popcorn with a bunch of candy and like a Starbucks.
Was this your girlfriend?
No, just a friend.
Are you still
I
friends?
liked her at the time.
Yeah.
But
is this the girl that you changed your profile picture to?
No, different girl. Different girl.
Ethan changed his profile picture.
That was freshman year. That was freshman year.
That was
this
a girl.
was sophomore year.
And that girl had a boyfriend, and you're like, I just threw it up there. That's social media warfare. So, did she know this was coming?
I don't know.
Did you ask her to go to the dance before you publicly asked her to go to the dance?
No.
So you just were all out there. I'm out there, Jerry.
Yeah. I think she may have had an idea through parents, communication of parents, I hadn't said anything to her.
Ooh. Put a pin in that. I want to discuss that. Were you... was there any percentage of your mind that was concerned she would say no?
Oh my gosh, yes, I was an insecure 15-year-old.
So it's not like you...
Heart was pounding out of my chest going up to her front door.
You went to her door?
Yeah.
Who answered the door?
She did. But I think she was told to. Go answer the door, Emily.
Next. No particular reason, go answer the door.
It's somebody selling roofing.
Here's a question. You said you were 15 here?
Yeah, I would have.
Sophomore?
Or I may have just turned 16.
Sophomore?
Yeah.
You said the parents worked it out?
No, I said they may have passed along hey, Ethan's going to ask. That may have been this was also 10 years ago.
I understand
almost,
that, but are parents allowed to do that?
I don't think there's any legit rules when it comes to this stuff, Annie. I don't think there's unwritten rules for how it should go or how it shouldn't go. But I
feel like there are rules, but you only find out when you've really broken them.
Can you imagine how humiliating it would have been, though, if I showed up with all of that at a front door of a girl I had a crush on, and they said, nope, sorry, and they just closed the door in my face? That'd be traumatic stuff.
I know. It seems like you had some confidence from your parents that maybe this was going to be...
I think so. I think that's what the case was. She ended up being a great friend. She's one of my closest friends now, though. And in fact, my senior year of prom, I ended up taking her to prom, but that time it was solely, obviously, just as friends. I think we were both dating people at the time. No, that's not true. I had just broken up with someone a few months earlier.
Dirty dog.
I said, let's just go as friends. And it was so much fun.
No pressure.
And it was so relaxed, so chill.
You just get to enjoy the event without having the pressure of all the stuff.
Exactly.
All the things.
Exactly. That would have been so backwards if I was dating someone and asked her that. I was processing. I'm like, wait, that wouldn't have worked.
Ethan's
That would have gotten me in
wild.
trouble.
I was so rebellious that I said, I don't need homecoming to dance. I can dance anywhere. And then I would dance.
In your room?
Anywhere, including my room, with girls.
Maybe at Andrea's Steakhouse?
Possibly. I mean, this is all made up, so we can really go anywhere we want.
Ryan's 16 years old, skipping his homecoming, going for a steak.
You're my one. You're my one love, baby.
That's not far off. That probably did that.
Hitting on the 70-year-old waitresses. Hey, baby.
What's up,
You
lady?
want a twice baked potato?
I want
Have
a
seat.
medium rare.
I hope Andrews is not offended. Do you think that this is a good idea? Am I being a fuddy-duddy by not liking it? Ethan, you can tell me first because you're a participant in it.
I'll say this. I agree that to a certain extent it is a lot of social media BS.
It's unnecessary pressure for show.
It is, especially the first couple of years. It's like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? It becomes more fun the older you get, and the more it's just like, who cares? Like, let's just have fun. And but there is social media is a huge aspect of it.
There's a huge difference between doing this when you're a junior and senior and when you're a freshman and sophomore.
Oh, totally. Because you're junior, senior, you kind of you have your confidence. Like you're kind of like
it might be the most confident that a
school.
man is in his life. It's junior or senior year.
Oh, senior year, I felt like king of the world. No one could have stopped me from doing anything.
Yeah, go asking a different girl to prom. Hey, girlfriend, you're going to sit this one out.
Maybe
Go into the bullpen. I'd love to know what you guys think about this. Leave us your comments on the Annie Fry YouTube channel. I do feel very much like I am like a get off my lawn person in regards to this. I just feel like the pressure is so much, and it's so. If it's just for show, come on. You set yourself up for a pretty deep crash and burn.
I just don't like
For
that
what?
it raises the bar so high, because you know how I like to keep the bar low.
The expectations are incredibly low, Ryan. You're doing a great job.
Thank you.
You just almost exceeded them.
That's the goal.
When we come back, Ethan's sports and local next. So I want to give you a quick tip, but it expires after today. So rulerfoods.com, that's where you're going to go right now. You want to secure $10 off a $60 delivery, have those savings shipped directly to your door, and tack on a $10 off coupon right now. That's through today, September 3rd. When you go to schedule that delivery, throw in the code SUPERSAVER, all one word, SUPERSAVER at Ruler Foods, and it expires today. So you got to hurry. Get $10 off your $60 delivery purchase. You can save right now with Kroger brats and Italian sausages, just $3.49. 3-pound Kroger deli salads, just $4.99. Perfect for sharing as well. Heritage Farm seasoned beef patties, 2-pound pack for just $7.99. And Kroger baked beans, only $1.99. Ruler Foods are all over the bi-state region. There's one near you, near your home, near your place of business, maybe near church on Sunday. Whichever one is conveniently located for you, give them the opportunity to earn your business. Just go in once. I promise. You'll be glad you did. Go to rulerfoods.com to schedule your delivery today and save $10 off a $60 delivery when you put in code SUPERSAVER. Rulerfoods.com.
Do you owe $10,000 or more in credit card debt or personal loans? With credit card debt at all-time highs, Debt Relief Advocates is urgently notifying consumers of debt relief now being made available, designed to aid consumers with out-of-control credit card debt. Those who qualify and enroll for this relief program will only have to pay back a fraction of what they owe. This is not bankruptcy or a debt consolidation loan. This is a relief program that credit card companies would rather you not know about, as it ends your debt nightmare and saves you lots of money. Consumers owing at least $10,000 in credit card debt or personal loans can now take advantage of this debt relief as the cost of living skyrockets. Debt Relief Advocates has established a relief hotline for you to call to learn what debt reduction you may qualify for, so don't wait. For this free information, call the Relief Hotline at 800-390-1164. 800-390-1164. 800-390-1164.
Are you nearing retirement and don't know if you have enough money saved to retire? That is scary. Do you have a written retirement financial plan in place? Well, when it comes to retirement planning, The trusted team at Financial and Tax Architects are the best. They've helped people all over St. Louis retire with confidence. And that's what you want. You want to retire with confidence. Now, they offer a one-night, 2.5-hour adult education class called Retirement Planning 101. They hold these at colleges over the St. Louis area and in Illinois. No cost, no obligation, just learning. And at this class, you learn how to avoid costly mistakes, how to maximize your income, how to reduce taxes in retirement. So call them today, 314-888-5101, or visit fta-ria.com and take the first step toward a smarter retirement. 314-888-5101.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/radio to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
That's leaffilter.com/radio for your free gutter inspection today. See representative for warranty details. Promotion is 20% off plus a 10% senior or military discount. One discount per household.
Viking, committed to exploring the world in comfort, offering small ship experiences with a shore excursion included in every port and programs designed for cultural enrichment. Discover more at Viking.com. That's Viking.com.
Family focused, faith filled, always on point. It's the Annie Fry Show.
Check it out. Sports and local.
Durfin Doniford's Dumpy Dude.
Oh, gosh. Okay, Butthead or Beavis. I don't know which laugh that was. Are they the same?
These are Ethan's favorites.
Is there a distinction between Beavis and Butthead's laugh?
Oh, yeah. Butthead's deeper.
Do it.
Beavis is like, and Butthead's like,
Okay, well, you were Beavis then. After that played.
Who's Butthead?
After you heard Dumpy Doo, you were Beavis. Go back and roll the tape.
me and Ethan both think that one's funny, though. Right, Ethan?
Yeah, he's actually giving me some freedom to choose the ones that I want. And I'm not going to lie, I chose that one today.
It's all about the collab.
Dumpy Doo.
There's a different version of that one, too. It's even better. I would play it, but my audio's not.
Let's just do the sports and local.
Yeah, let's do that part. There was some pretty big news yesterday in St. Louis regarding the Cardinals and some comments made by hitting coach Brant Brown, who joined KMOX's The Gas House Gang, and was asked about Jordan Walker, his development, his progress. It's been a bumpy 2025 for Jordan Walker. We know it was the big name prospect a couple of years ago. This was supposed to be the next. He had even been compared to Albert Pujols, which is an unfair expectation, regardless, because the greatest right-handed hitter of all time. But there was a lot of high expectation going into 2023 for Jordan Walker. Had a good year, but he has not been able to replicate that in 24 or 2025. So the hitting coach gave some thoughts on where Jordan Walker is at, where they would like to see him improve. And here's that audio.
Daily structure level is at some point in time, he's going to have to devote kind of more focus on preparation. We've had long conversations with this. Is not only looking at film on the starter, but also being able to come in and the first day of a series, just take a look at all the bullpen guys, all the information and videos available, just so we're not getting snuck up on when a guy comes in. When Jordan Walker is ready to be good, I feel like it's going to be up to him. We all know the potential. I don't even think he knows, the ceiling.
When he's ready to be good, it's up to him.
There was obviously more that was said than just these 45 seconds of audio. They talked, actually, a good portion of the interview was spent discussing Jordan Walker. But I tell you what, can there be a worse critique for a player
if he applied himself?
he needs to put more effort into his preparation.
Is it fair?
I mean, the numbers aren't there. The numbers haven't been there for 2 years. And the constant thing with Jordan Walker has been, we're trying to get him to buy into this is what he needs to do, and this rather than what he wants to do. Because right now, Jordan Walker and his camp, from everything that I know and have heard, is he feels as though this way would be the best way to get him to be successful. And the Cardinals coaching staff has a different opinion. Well, up to this point, it hasn't really worked for Jordan Walker and what he's done the last couple years and trying to be able to respond back to the adjustments made by Major League pitching against him.
That sounds more like the clip that you played sounded like they were saying he's not working hard enough or putting enough prep. But what you're saying is these are different approaches.
I think I think that it can be both things at the same time. The Cardinals, that has been a back and forth thing for a while now. Jordan Walker, when he makes contact, he hits the ball really hard. But it's been a long back and forth thing where Walker doesn't hit the ball in the air enough. He's a big guy. He's 6'5", 6'6", 250 pounds. You look at that and you say, well, that should be home run power. He doesn't hit enough home runs. He doesn't get the ball in the air enough. So that's been kind of that back and forth. So, yes, Ryan, but I would argue more so that it's both in the situation that they're kind of separate things. I tell you what, though, I mean, I think that's a super concerning thing for a guy that has been struggling as much as he is in Jordan Walker, and to be able to not make those adjustments.
Is your concern here with Jordan Walker or the way the organization is talking about Jordan Walker?
I was surprised by how upfront and candid Brant Brown was in his comments regarding this. You don't see this kind of stuff make its way into the public or through the media very often. But listening to the full interview, it sounds like there's some frustration. Like they've really been trying to work on some things, and there has been some progress and some growth with a lot of the players. But specifically with Jordan Walker, things just have not clicked the way that they want to, and it sounds like a lot of it is in his hands. Now, Ollie Marmol also said that he is nowhere close to giving up on Jordan Walker, and that there is still a lot of optimism around his talent and his abilities, but it sounds like until he buys in on what that process is going to take, then you're going to continue to see a disappointing top prospect. I don't even know if you can call him a prospect anymore. He's been up for almost 3 full years.
Yeah.
But it's going to continue to be a lot of disappointment from Jordan Walker, and heading into a year where the Cardinals are going to have to be making a lot of moves this offseason. The future of Jordan Walker is going to be something to keep an eye on. Not an encouraging sign. No. Can we agree on that?
And we're looking for encouraging signs.
That we are. Do we have time for another story, Annie?
We do.
You're going to love this one.
I love it already.
Illinois has become the first state in the Midwest to guarantee public university and college students access to abortion and medication. The bill was signed into law.
Is this Memphis Pressdown?
Reading through. I don't believe so. Not that I'm seeing here. But I don't think so. The bill was signed into law by J.B. Pritzker on August 22nd. It ensures the access through campus health services or licensed external providers. He said, to work on implementation, we have a partnership with an external pharmacy that does a lot of our pharmacy services. We'll work with them to make sure our understanding of the new law compliant moving forward. This will take effect for the 2025-26 school year. This adds on to a law that Pritzker signed in 2023 that required emergency contraception on public campuses and universities. So I'm not seeing anything about that specifically.
There are no bright spots in the state of Illinois.
Is that publicly funded abortion on demand college
Screw the Hyde
access?
Amendment.
So we're paying for that, and it's birth control for college students in the form of abortion.
We are providing health care that students need, that students want. We will continue to do that and continue to provide health care that students need and request.
In that regard, let's talk when we come back about abstinence.
Okay.
Deal?
Deal.
Going back to my Charlie Kirk views that I was gosh, somebody commented the podcast. Commented again because somebody was like, was it the such and such podcast? And I said, yes, that was it. Watching Charlie Kirk go out and say what he's saying about men today, women today, and really putting the stamp of there is like a point in time where feminism came in and was like changing the shift, changing the focus, changing the path of dating, of relationships. And I don't know that it really did it for the better. Let's take a quick break. We'll talk about that when we return. In September, this week, there's a Labor Day sale taking place at the Diamond Shop, and I want you to enjoy the heck out of this sale. 40% off all in-stock jewelry, an extra 10% off for VIPs during this special event. Christmas is upon us. I know you may not be coming to grips with that quite yet, but you should. Plus, they have a 0% 6 months, same as cash financing if you're looking for something particularly spectacular when you're shopping at the Diamond Shop. They're in Clayton, so you can go visit them in store, and I encourage you to do that because the in-stock jewelry is 40% off during this Labor Day sale. And when you walk in, a lot of people have a little, if you don't have a jeweler, if you don't have a place yet, you're going to kind of feel intimidated going in. You're going to feel, you've got all of these, judgments that you've made upon yourself. You're going to project it on the people who are there, that they're going to, nope, none of that there. You walk in, they're going to be excited to see you. They're going to be excited to work with you. They're going to ask you, who are you shopping for? What is your budget? And then they're going to do everything they can to meet those expectations to earn you to walk back in there confidently the next time. Walk into the Diamond Shop, tell them Annie Fry said hi, and shop the 40% off Labor Day sale this week. Online at thediamondshop.net.
I'm Kristen Press. And I'm Tobin Heath. We're World Cup winners, Olympians, and the hosts of The Recap Show.
Every week, we sit down with the icons, disruptors, and game changers on the field and beyond it to talk victories, heartbreaks, and everything in between.
We've built a space where athletes, change makers, and people creating the future of women's sports can show up and show off as their full, unapologetic selves.
Follow and listen to The Recap Show wherever you get your podcasts.
Stop just trying to paint and patch up the outside of your home. It's time to give it a permanent upgrade with James Hardie fiber cement siding from Lakeside Renovation and Design. This siding is designed to stand up to all the crazy weather we get here in Missouri, and it looks fantastic. Lakeside is a James Hardie elite preferred contractor. Whole team, by the way, is in-house, and they're going to take care of all the details, the color, the trim, everything to customize it to your home, to take the stress off of your plate. If your home is showing any signs of wear, it's time to take the next step. Visit lakesiderd.com.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at lancedrurylaw.com or call us toll-free at 888-367-6512.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon. If you're nearing retirement or already retired, call my friends Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group. They'll show you how linking to the market is much safer than owning the market for your retirement savings. They're the official financial advisors of my show. Go to retirementkey.com.
The YouTube live chat poll today is regarding Epstein. Is Trump guilty of anything? No, maybe, or yes. Those are your three answers. Let us know what you think, and we are going to give you the results of this poll in about 20 minutes, so stick around to see how it turns out. It is 2:35. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
From Festus to Freeburg, 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
I left Oklahoma, driving in a Pontiac, just about to lose my mind.
One of the things that Charlie Kirk was saying in this conversation that he was having on this podcast I was watching, I need to find the name of it, and I will. And I've seen him have these conversations in his campus visits through TPUSA. But he always prefaces it like, I know this is wild. I know that this is a taboo subject or whatever. But he's like, let's bring back purity. Abstinence is the way. Suggesting that somehow or another abstinence is something that I mean, it almost seems ridiculous to suggest that abstinence would still be something that could be talked about in 2025. I really actually think that this is the time to be kind of shouting that from the rooftops, and the understanding that your physical relationship with the other person needs to be something that is sacred and special. I don't think that we're so far. I think we in our lifetime, we're in our 40s here, Ryan or Ethan, you're in your 20s. But I think in our lifetime, we've seen a really, really dramatic distance between how culture through like societal norms addressed the concept or the participation in abstinence before marriage. Like the willful participation in saying that was, the cultural expectation, with the understanding that what percentage of people actually participate in that. But, I really wonder when it comes time for people to get married, how many people get married right now who have no other partners?
I have no clue.
I bet it's sad.
Sadly low.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, it's something you have to talk about because let's say that 0% of people actually follow through with waiting until marriage. It's still worth talking about because you still have to set a standard. If you don't set a right standard, not only is nobody ever going to even try to do it, but nobody's even going to know what the right way is. So you can set a standard and then have deviation from that standard, which is what you typically do have, but you still got to set it. And the plumb line is still important to have.
Should we be publicly talking about abstinence as like an actual point of discussion?
Yeah.
Because we just had a story from Ethan about this is why I wanted to talk about it, because Ethan, your report was about the state of Illinois making the abortion pill available publicly at universities. Was that right?
Correct. Which I believe, after further reading, that it is mifepristone. I think that's the pronunciation of it.
Which is it's an at-home abortion. You take the pill at home. You go through the process of having an abortion in your toilet. I am so sad to hear what Ryan said in that we're using this for birth control. Abortion, the people who are pro-choice but not pro-abortion, if that delineation is even able to be made, would not want people to utilize abortion services for birth control situations. They are willing to let someone else, they do the Pontius Pilate thing, to let someone else make a abortion decision for themselves in the case of an emergency. Or what about rape, incest, and the life of the mother? Yes, okay. Like I've constantly said, what if every one of those circumstances we said to have your abortion every time there's rape, there's incest, or if the life of the mother, which honestly is not really ever the case, that a baby has to be murdered in utero in order to preserve the life of the mother. You might have to deliver the baby early and the baby might not survive, but the forced death of the child is never necessary to save the life of the mother. It might be the result of a medical procedure because the baby can't withstand the medical procedure that is there, but you don't have to go in and piece apart the baby and vacuum it out in order for the life of the mother to be okay. That's just the truth of the matter. We are well past the line, specifically in the state of Illinois, where abortion is a method of birth control. And it's funded by us. Isn't that outrageous? The only way, and this is probably where like abortion, people who are anti-abortion like me even, who have tried to advocate and show up and volunteer my time and donate to pro-life causes, where we've really missed the mark. We're only trying to talk about post-conception decisions. Maybe if we could explain the value of a culture that respects sex where it belongs, which is as much as you possibly want within the confines of marriage. Is that unrealistic? Maybe. But if we actually prioritize our relationships with the partner, if we actually held marriage in the sacred place in our existence as people, that soul partnership, that marriage should have, then we would understand how saving that part of yourself for just that one person, what kind of an act that is of love and sacrifice. And in this conversation that Charlie Kirk was having with these two guys, he was talking about what women want most in men. And these guys said something like ambition and, like big dreams that they're willing to pursue and everything. And Charlie Kirk said what women want is self-control. They want to go on a date with a man and watch that man who has the same impulses as most men exhibit self-control. Because there is longevity that can be, you can invest in a man who can practice self-control. If a man doesn't have self-control, then a whole host of things can go drastically wrong very quick. If he doesn't have self-control, then how can he prioritize somebody else? Like, how can he give so much of himself in a relationship to his partner? And if you're not his priority, I mean, yes, of course, the reciprocal is true. He has to be your priority just as much as you are, as a woman, his. That if women don't have the same self-control concerns that men do. Biologically, scientifically, they're just different. That doesn't mean that women may not struggle with self-control in certain particular things. Women may not be able to control, how they think about other people or how they think other people think about them. Like the obsessions, the things, the triggers that women go through in their head and the thinking and all of that stuff. Men's issues with self-control are pretty primal. And what a woman wants in that man is the understanding that, yes, these impulses are there, but he can control them. That all goes, I don't really understand the argument against abstinence. I could speak about it in a biblical sense, but I don't think you have to. I think it's the way to go about things without having to bring in Sixth Commandment stuff in the discussion. It certainly helps my argument, but it would only help my argument to somebody else who has the same Christian faith.
The argument against abstinence for my whole life, that as far as teaching it as a viable option, has been nobody's going to do that. That's the argument.
That it's just unrealistic.
It's unrealistic. Why? It's old-fashioned. That's another one. It's old-fashioned. It's unrealistic. So why teach it as a viable option? Well, because it is a viable option. And in fact, a lot of people I know made it a viable option.
And did it.
Got there. And you know what? Healthy marriages. I'm not saying that's the only reason. I'm not saying you can't have one if you didn't get there. I'm saying they have healthy marriages. And I'm not going to speak about anybody in particular or myself. I'm just going to say that it was taught as an option my entire life. Obviously, part of that was in church, but part of that was not. And it is definitely possible. In fact, if you make it a priority, it's probable. But you got to make it a priority, and you got to have a community of people around you telling you that it's possible.
I fear for our children. Your kids are not there yet, Ryan, but they're very, very close to where all of these things are going to be in their purview, whether you're there or not, to guide them and parent them through it. But when Charlie Kirk said, I know it's crazy, but I'm just going to throw an idea out there. We should bring purity back again. This is Charlie Kirk's words, and Brad got me the name of the podcast. It was the Iced Coffee Hour. You should go check out that episode and see what I saw. It's great. Great discussion. But when he suggests purity and abstinence, I'm like, well, that's what I believe, and that's what I subscribe to, and that's what my kids want. Well, that's what I want for my kids, I should say. All of that to say that it's weird hearing somebody on my TV screen say it out loud. And I think, oh, gosh, that's kind of risky.
You know what?
It's weird.
Let me just add this to the conversation. As we're talking about this, I'm realizing this. Churches, why have you backed away from this?
Where are you?
Where are you? You have followed culture in this, and culture's followed you. You have got to stand up for this value.
There are a lot of church organizations that have not just been like we're talking about the prudest of the prude situations here. Don't have sex until you're married, and then get married and have all the sex you want. I think my kids are out of school because I think they got out. Hi, kids.
Hi.
It's nothing I haven't told them. It's not a bad thing. It's a God-given thing. You know, if you're talking about the religious context of it, but you did the right thing here and you brought the church into this conversation. Like, where are you on it? If it's a godly thing, then it's not bad. But like most things, good things that come from God come with a few rules and expectations. It's a gift. And the church, it's weird to say this, but like the secular church that exists right now has gone not just from like, you know, I know that you're not going to practice abstinence, but limit your partners. Don't just give that away to anybody. Like, oh, you've lost me. That's not biblical at all. To a lot of churches that have said, whatever makes you feel good, you should do, and then you should come here, and together at church, we'll celebrate that. That is not a version of the Bible that I have read. And that is to say that I have fallen drastically short of the measure that God has set forth for me. So the sin line, I am so far below it, and I pray every day for forgiveness, and thank God Jesus gives it to me. But on this particular issue, the setting up of your children, our children as a culture, like community, the future of understanding of a healthy society, I think the best thing you can do is protect that part of yourself. Find somebody, like I tell my kids this all the time, God already knows. God has already picked somebody for you. God is already, God knows. It's real. God knows. You're going to have to trust him in that while you're weaving in and out of, oh, I like him, but he doesn't like me. Or I asked her and made this obnoxious prom proposal that everybody told me how to do, and she said no. Whatever those instances are, they're going to be ups and they're going to be downs, but God has a plan for you. You need to stick to the plan and do this the way he says, because that person is out there right now praying literally to God that you're going to do the same, that you're going to wait for them. And if you do that and you have that, it will be rare, but it's in the design. Why are we not talking more about this culturally? Like if you're out there, and I'm talking to myself right now, I'm looking at myself in the camera. Why, if you're out there talking about pro-life, are we also not encouraging people to potentially choose abstinence, have a relationship? You can have a physical relationship without having to do that. Maybe if we started valuing things in their right context, we wouldn't have to have taxpayer-funded birth control abortion pills in our Illinois campuses. Let's take a quick break. We'll get the poll results when we come back.
My baby said I was crazy. My mama called me lazy. I was gonna show them all this time. 'Cause you know I ain't no foolin'. I don't need no more schooling. I was born to just walk the line.
Air Comfort Service. You find them online at aircomfortservice.com. This is a great time of year to have the whole HVAC system checked to make sure that you aren't keeping your eyes and your attention away from that HVAC system that's got a problem lingering. And it's a fixable problem, just a little maintenance that needs to be done in there. And you cannot careen into the abyss of having to replace the whole thing. That's going to get costly. They have a lot of ways to make it more affordable for you. Yes, like 0% financing for up to 72 months. That makes getting a new AC or HVAC system affordable. But you can also subscribe to their maintenance plan, get an AC system check from Air Comfort Service, and avoid some of those costly replacements by doing the necessary repairs. Your system needs to be ready to handle heat and, of course, the cold of the winter that will be upon us. Get that preferred partner plan subscription where your entire HVAC system is checked twice a year. It's just $19 a month. Pay monthly. You get the 12-month free. You can call them directly at 314-513-0091, 314-513-0091, online at aircomfortservice.com.
This Friday, the Chiefs take on the Los Angeles Chargers in Sao Paulo, Brazil, as the first week of NFL football begins. Friday's Chiefs-Chargers pregame is at 6 and kickoff is at 7. All of it is right here on 97.1 Friday night.
You want to retire soon, but everyone keeps telling you to wait until you're 65. After all, that's the age that you qualify for Medicare and you're close to full retirement age. I'm Marvin Mitchell, president of Compass Retirement Solutions. In my new book, Retire Early, the 9 critical decisions when retiring before 65, I discuss proper planning to help make early retirement possible. When to take Social Security, what to do with your 401k, health care, how to maximize retirement income, and much more. Get a complimentary copy of Retire Early by calling 1-800-743-8510. That's 1-800-743-8510. Can you retire early? Call 1-800-743-8510 for your copy of Retire Early, the 9 critical decisions when retiring before 65.
Investments and services offered through Compass Retirement Group, a registered investment advisory in Missouri and Illinois. Compass Retirement Solutions is not affiliated with the U.S. government or any governmental agency.
Annie Fry, Ryan Wiggins, Brad Range. It's the Annie Fry Show.
She's so kissable, huggable, lovable, unbelievable. She's a
Did you ever have a relationship or a non-relationship? Did you ever pine after anybody who wasn't, that it never worked out?
Yeah.
Like pine.
Yes.
She consumed your thoughts.
Yes.
And it didn't work out.
Yes.
Brad?
Oh, yeah.
Like, most of my interests, I don't know that they ever knew. It was like the worst thing that could have happened is that I liked them, that they would find out. What's the matter with that? Is that, I don't know. The fear of rejection was so immense that it was not trumped by the, what if they say yes? And I wasn't going to ask anybody out. I was too proud.
Man, my situation was one of the worst it could have been because I dated a girl for a very, very short amount of time. And then she broke up with me. And then I was like, oh, no, I really liked her. And there was nothing I could do because we had already dated.
Did you try to get her back?
Sort of, but I knew it was not going to happen.
High school?
It was dead. It was like
College?
end of high school, into
So
college.
old enough to where like a relationship means a little bit more than if it's like a 14-year-old back in the day call the phone that rings in the kitchen and dad answers.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's, that couple of years, man, there's a big difference between 16 and 18.
Huge. What about you, Brad?
Yeah, I mean, all the time. Say all the time. It happened all the time. And like, sometimes I wouldn't ask the girl out because holding on to the hope that maybe there's a possibility she could say yes was always better than
no.
Then
a definitive no.
And then the other side of that is like whenever you really like a girl, I've experienced exactly what Ryan's talking about. You really like a girl, and she's like, we're breaking up. But in my case, it was, we're breaking up, and not only are we breaking up, I'm going to go date this guy right here that I've been pining for however long while we were still dating. So
I was cursed with having really pretty friends. I hung out with some really pretty girls. I should have picked better.
Yeah, you got to pick
friends
a bunch of.
so that I was. Is that a dude thing?
You gotta hang out.
I can't hang out with you. You're attractive.
Actually, no, it's the opposite. If you have a lot of attractive girls, it's going to be like, oh, okay, because there's like more options.
No, I've hung out with all the pretty girls, and they were in and out of relationships all the time. And I was super athletic and mouthy.
Hard to believe.
You don't say.
I actually wasn't like. No, I probably was mouthy. That's probably a fair assessment. So I'm pretty sure I terrified a lot of boys. But like I said, all my girlfriends, some of them are probably listening right now. You were all so much prettier than me, and it was just like I never had the confidence to like put myself out there to get the yes that I wanted so bad. Like I don't know, like the dog that caught the car, what I would have done if that would have happened. I never really had. I dated some wonderful boys. I dated no boys that I regret dating, but I was never like super, it never was like a super romantic thing. And I remember late in high school, I remember what my room looked like when I prayed the prayer, like, God, will you just please give me somebody that I can be worthy of, that's worth, like, will you please just put that person on the trajectory to meet me that I can meet? And I'm just going to put trust in you that that's going to work out. And I have to tell you, jackpot. And I've told my kids that too. Like, wait and trust. And that's really not easy to do when you're 15 or 12 or whatever it might be. The YouTube live chat poll for today regarding Epstein, is Trump guilty of anything? Ethan, you got the results up?
70% saying obviously no. 19% say maybe. 11% say obviously yes.
Ooh,
of the
up from
271
3.
votes.
That's a high vote total for today. The 3% turned into 11%. Mark Reardon coming up next. Don't go away.
Experience matters, and if you're considering a backyard project, I want you to call my friends at Chesterfield Fence and Deck. Mark Cox here. You know, Chesterfield Fence and Deck has been around since 1968. They're locally owned and operated by the same ownership all those years, and it is the sign you have the very best. They have their own professionally trained installation crews, their own trucks and tools. They aren't subbing anything out. You're getting the work done by the great people at Chesterfield Fence and Deck. You're welcome to visit their showroom there in Chesterfield, or they'll be happy to come to you. They do free in-home estimates, no obligation. They do free project design, so whether you want a new deck or a new fence or maybe a new pergola out back or a new sunroom, Chesterfield Fence and Deck can take care of it. And for the month of September, mention Mark and get 48 months interest-free financing on your next outdoor project with Chesterfield Fence and Deck. Go to chesterfieldfence.com.
Stewart's American Mortgage and the Bagel Loan. Easy phone call, text message, and your mortgage is going to be potentially like 2 weeks away. He can close so fast. 314-324-4440. That's 314-324-4440. When you call or text Stewie and you talk to him about your mortgage, whether it's new or a refinance of your current mortgage, you're going to be in the hands of an expert. And the cool thing about Stewart's American Mortgage is that the business that you do with Stewie, you do directly with Stewie. So you're going to have the guidance, you're going to have the expertise of somebody who is nationally recognized for being great, if not the best, at getting you the best mortgage situation. The Bagel Loan, which can be a new mortgage or a refinance or even a cash-out refinance, comes with $0 in closing costs. So you're going to go through the process of getting a new mortgage, and when the closing cost time comes around, you owe nothing. That's fantastic, isn't it? 314-324-4440. Google the Bagel Loan, NMLS number 226715.
This is your chance to win a free basic handgun skills class from the Range St. Louis West. Mark Cox here, 14803 Manchester Road in Baldwin is where the range sits, and you got to go. This is ideal for beginners, expert instruction. They have it available in a women-only class if you're more comfortable. Normally the class is $135. You can win right now, therangestl.com/971. Again, therangestl.com/971.
Do you have $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is letting everyone know about great debt relief options now available to help people with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of your credit card debt. Get a free debt relief consultation